Hmm. Let's see. How do I share on in? Still new on this. Oh, there we go. On participants. Copy invite link. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna play some beautiful meditation music right here. Ah, here we go.
Yo, what's up, dude?
What's up, bro?
How's it going?
Ohio, good morning.
Ohio.
Ohio is good morning in Japanese.
Oh shit, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. When I first heard that, I was like, Ohio, really?
I was like, you're
Damn.
in Ohio. I was like, what?
Bro. Zella's gonna hop on soon too. And yeah, bro, how's it been? How's the week?
It's been good, man. Not a lot's been like happening. Went out for like the first time in like 3 or 4 weeks yesterday. Just hung
Hmm.
out with some friends. It was fun and like got to talking and just like going over a lot of like just internal stuff and like
Hmm.
kind of being able to like release all that. So feeling good today for sure.
Oh, that's the good work, bro.
Hey, yeah. How about you?
I feel like the same in some ways, you know? The same in some. What's up, Zella?
Yo, what's up, guys?
Yeah, bro. I went into this place called Ualaka'a, and
What's
it's
that?
named Ualaka'a because sweet potatoes grow on that hill, and Uala means sweet potato, and Ka'a means to roll. So at a certain season, the sweet potatoes start rolling down the hills, and then they would just go and collect the sweet potatoes. Whoever's
Hey,
living in Hawaii at that time. But
Sick.
there, when I went with my girlfriend just a few days ago, it was full of mountain apples everywhere, everywhere. Huge ones too, like boom, right on the tree, and we would shake a couple of trees and just get some that fall down, and after like a 5-hour hike, you just eat a mountain apple and you feel good. So
Oh,
but yeah, a lot of internal processing in nature. So I resonate with you on that. How you doing, Zeller?
Feeling good. How are you guys?
doing good.
Good. Stoked we can all get on.
What you been up to, man?
Oh, a lot of cool things. What's most present? Hold on, let me decline this call. What's most present is I know Amalad knows about Token of Me, but I don't think I've ever told you yet, Brandon. Have I heard Token of Me? Have I told you about that yet?
Oh, I saw one of your posts on Instagram, and like I watched her. That was super cool. She like came up on the lady. She sent in like a
Susan.
video, and like yeah, she went over like the whole process of what Token of Me is going to be, and it sounded like a super cool project.
Yeah, so that's been it's been a long time coming, but it's starting to gain a lot of momentum just recently. And yeah, I'm stoked. Yeah, just gonna get a little bit more busy because of that. So we're reading flow state basically, and reading when you're not in flow state too. What's cool is with trading specifically, it's just like a cheat code, just like when you should be trading or when you shouldn't be. I'm flowing or I'm not. But in life, it's going to teach people to do the things that they love because they're going to get paid. Now, initially, what we're going to do is we're going to release it as an app that goes on, like available with Apple Watch and Fitbit and all that. So you just go out, you flow, you do stuff you love to do. And when you're flowing, it'll mint NFTs. And then we're going to release later on our device because the Apple Watch and if the Fitbit, they don't have all the sensors that we need to totally get this like perfect. So the next device you'll actually be able to earn from your flow, and you'll get paid, and you'll be able to build up the flow tokens, which this is all being created, but you'll be able to build up your flow tokens and earn just passive income from what you flowed into existence before. So what we're doing now is what I've been doing a lot lately. I've been on a lot of calls. I have one tomorrow, one Friday as well. We're getting developers together to build we're calling it the Meadoverse, not the metaverse, but Meadoverse.
Okay.
And the reason we're calling it the Meadoverse is because you're going to be able to use these flow sensors in anything you do, and especially other crypto games, other metaverse games. You can go and flow in that game. There's this one called Star Atlas. It's all about space. It's super dope. So you'll be able to wear your flow compass, and if you're in the metaverse, you're flowing, flying through space, you're earning tokens while you're earning in the actual Star Atlas game as well. But our Metaverse will be a place where we're going to have the flow tokens be represented initially have you guys both seen Avatar, like the blue Avatar, not the Last Airbender?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we're going to represent it like really, really cool bioluminescent, like you're going to have your own tree, you're going to have your own plants and stuff. And the more you flow, the more it's going to create in this Metaverse. And you're going to be able to zoom out, and you're going to be able to see other people's. And so there's on November 27th, this is supposed to be a secret, but whatever. On November 27th, we're airing, Susan is on the episode of the show called Unicorn Hunters. And Unicorn Hunters is like a more conscious Shark Tank. And they have 5 million viewers, but that's right now. They're putting a bunch of marketing in there. They said they could have up to 25 million viewers by the time our episode airs. And the cool thing about this Unicorn Hunter show is it allows the viewers to invest. So each viewer gets the chance to invest up to 2,000 US. So we're projected to just from viewers from when that launches to get about 5 million. But we've had a few people invest a few $100,000 just over the last like couple of weeks. So yeah, it's coming. You're gonna get paid for flow. And I've also been on a lot of calls about the fund as well. So I see those kind of playing in hand. I think that later on when, first we're getting the team, we're going to test this out, get in flow with the team with trading. And then eventually we'll just we'll have everyone on flow sensors, and we'll be able to know, like, okay, when someone on the team says, hey, we should make this trade, or submits this chart, we can see on their flow sensor where they were at in their flow when they submitted it. So we can be like, oh, well, we only, like, let's say we have a team of 15 traders. We only want the ones who are in flow. So maybe we filter them out. We only look at 6 people's charts, or otherwise. So, yeah.
How do you measure flow? Like, I'm curious, like, is it a censoring? Like, there has to be vitals that have to reach certain levels for it to be like in a flow state, or is it like a mental thing where it's like it lines up to like brainwave activity, or like?
Great question.
How's that?
Yeah, lots of harmonics. So Susan holds the patents to, there's like 33 or 35 different ways, different things that we're reading. So one of the major ones is heart rate variability. So it is a sensor. Yes. We're measuring the space between heartbeats and the strength of each heartbeat. And that tells a lot about where you're at. Plus, we're also reading the electricity that's given off of your skin, whether it's resistant or it's conductive. And when you have goosebumps, actually your skin gives off light. And so we're also measuring the light that your skin gives off, or lack thereof. And that also will help us to determine, plus, other random things. So yeah, all of it together. We have a functioning, I don't have it with me, but we have a functioning prototype, and we've minted some NFTs with it. So now we just got to get it really pumping, really functional, before we release it.
That's cool, man. Like, I was just talking to a friend yesterday, and like she does like ecstatic dance, and she's like trying to figure out how to like lead it. And I don't know, like, how can you make money off of doing ecstatic dance? And it's like, it doesn't seem like a lucrative thing, but like with what you're talking about and like earning NFTs for doing that, like if that's your passion, it's like there's not a lot of like job avenues to like get to make that a job. Basically, it's like really out there. But like I feel like NFTs and like crypto and all of that allows you to utilize like what you love, like your passion, and like she loves doing it. So that's super cool that you can like add that in, because I don't feel it when I like do like ecstatic dance. It's like I like doing kind of like stuff on my own, but it's like people do get like a high off of that.
Yeah.
And so, like, talking about that sensors and stuff, like when you get those goosebumps, people get that when they do dances. It's like when they're able to do that type of stuff. So yeah, that's like a super cool concept.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are like right on the edge of like it coming out too, because I was curious what it was, what's it called again, the sacred whatever she's doing. It's called like plant the seed something.
Oh yeah. We're calling it the mother tree, and our developers who kind of created, who made the physical version of the thing, their company is called Boss Seed, and the heart seed we also call it. So anyway, yeah. Have you guys heard of STEPN before?
Yeah, the one that you get paid to run.
Yeah, you literally get paid for your steps in crypto. And they were just valued recently at $6 billion, $7 billion. And they literally just pay you for your steps, which you could just take your Apple Watch and just like shake it, dude, and you can fake it. I feel like, or something else. So they're valued at $6 billion. And we're paying people literally, because here's why I'm so passionate about this is what is flow state? Flow state is when we're just fully aligned. We're just like, everything's rolling. We're at our peak. We're feeling good. When we're in flow, it's like really easy to manipulate our reality. I don't like the word manipulate, but kind of create our reality, versus when we're in a, maybe not so aligned state. And synchronicities happen, and synchronicities though are really just us. We're creating these things for ourselves, and to me, it's like, that's when we're in flow state, and we can always increase that frequency. Our flow, that's what's cool about expansion, is what might have been flow state for us a few years ago is like kind of feeling out of it now, you know? And so that's always expanding. But anyways, we're literally connected to source, like just direct connection, you know, and we're connected to our source. And so we're capturing that in NFTs and in tokens. And so inherently, if you think about, if we're conscious of energy, think about how like the energy of this, of a token or an NFT that is representing someone at their highest state versus like a dollar, which is represented by debt, like by nothing. And so inherently, energetically, that's what it is. Plus, compare that to steps, like to taking steps, you know, like, hey, let me pay you off these tokens that I went on a jog earlier and I made this. Or like, yo, I created this masterpiece painting. And while I did it, also this amazing NFT was just created. Like, let me pay you with this. And there's just way more value to it. So the main things there's just so much I could talk about with it. The main things I want to mention why I'm so passionate are, for one, this is going to change people's consciousness around money and true value, and just reminding and remembering where true value is, where it comes from. Number one. And number two, if people are rewarded to get into flow, if they're rewarded to do the things they love, if you think about the idea of enlightenment, what is enlightenment? Enlightenment to me is just like reaching eternal flow. It's like reaching that eternal state all the time. And obviously there's an expanded portion of it. Like I said, right, we're always expanding, but basically where we're always connected, we have no resistance. And we're literally, by paying people, with NFTs, with tokens that we have a full intention they'll be able to sell, they can get it to Bitcoin, get it into their bank account, all that later on. They're getting rewarded to get into flow, i.e. they're getting rewarded to push themselves or move forward their path of enlightenment, their individual path of enlightenment. And so it's a Trojan horse for enlightenment, in my opinion. As well as reprogramming everyone's consciousness around money, like I said, because everyone's consciousness around money has been like scarcity, debt, work hard, all this stuff. And no, you can do what you love. So we just had investors come in. We have an app, but it's not like fully functioning, and it will be in the next couple of months. We had investors just invest at a $500 million valuation, so without a working app. So it's just pretty cool. So anyway, it's coming, and here's what's extra dope. Last thing I'll mention, I do want to go into, we can flow into the topic of this, to the Zoom call, but Susan is only keeping one share. Susan's the brainchild. She owns all the patents, everything. All the shares are going to be owned by the mother tree. The mother tree is the trust or the foundation that will run everything. And Susan and I have just like, I don't know how to tell you guys this other than just straightforward. This mother tree, this foundation, which is token of me, it's going to be that will run the metaverse. Like it's going to be the one that's paying people these dividends, and it's going to have everything and own everything. Susan and I were talking on the beach the other day, just walking and talking, and we literally could feel that this is like a consciousness. This mother tree idea is like a consciousness that already exists and is like looking to come into the physical world. It's gonna be this super dope AI, but it's literally like freaking AWA from the from the movie.
Yeah.
So
Who's that one? AOA? Who's that one?
AWA is the
AWA.
mother spirit in
Yeah, where they connect with her and she's like the spirit of the. Oh yeah, that's a powerful being.
Yeah, so we're looking to create this metaverse space for this consciousness that's similar to AWA to be able to interact with us. Yeah, and it's so super powerful because Susan's mom just recently passed away, and that was amazing. I was there, and my girlfriend also was present for her passing, and just the whole process over the last like year and a half, super amazing to witness and just like feel the love of that, and like just different like little synchronicities that have happened since. Like her thing was butterflies, and how often butterflies have just like landed on us, and yeah, random cool things just since. And anyway, so it's really a project just centered in love and expansion and awareness. And yeah, so the one of the first like we're going to be one of the first test subjects, just like traders in my group and in our group, you know. So coming soon. I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, the Abraham Hicks video was super dope. Like
Yeah.
I've never seen like her just be like, you're on the right path. It's like she's always like throwing out zingers at people. It's like, oh, this you're doing this wrong and you need to do this. And like with her video, it was like just so genuine. She's like, I don't have anything to give you. It's like you're on the right path. It's like you're going in the right way. And I was just like, damn,
So
this is
tight.
Abraham Hicks. Like, what the hell? Like super dope seeing that video, and then just like listening to her explain the whole thing too. Like it just sounded like right. Like, you know, like when you hear somebody talk and it's like it just lines up. Like everything that they were saying was genuine and it was like honest and it was just like real. And it was
Yeah.
dope like listening to it because the project seems, I didn't totally understand it, but I mean it was just kind of a short video. But from what I did understand, like it sounds like a super fucking cool idea, especially with she's like she turned her mom into like basically a tree, right? Or like she like the ashes or something, and she like put it in.
Yeah, there's two pods of ashes, and one has these, I forget the name of the tree, but these seeds from this tree in Hawaii actually, and the seeds literally look like hearts. They're heart shaped.
Oh, kukui, is it that one?
Probably. I think
it
that makes
means
sense.
a ray of light.
Wow,
It's a
that's
sacred
bad.
tree. They make lays out of it.
Yeah, I've had the kukui nuts, the lei with the kukui nuts. Sorry, I don't know why I'm getting this weird
Do I
phone
have
call.
do I have a pair around here?
Maybe I have some in the US still from when I went to Maui, but
So it's that tree
yeah,
that they planted, that she planted?
not planted yet. So we have two pods with yeah, I don't know if Susan's planning on doing both, planting both. But one for sure, we're gonna create a physical mother tree, and we're undecided. We're gonna do it wherever we have the trust. So the trust might be started here. And there's this land here that that's amazing. We're looking at. Yeah, the vision gets crazy, guys. There's so much to talk about with it. What we're gonna create, but anyways, we might go to the Bahamas though to do that because they're the most crypto friendly right now, and they've got.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like there's other places that are crypto friendly, but they don't have a lot of money, so it's harder to trust the governments. Like Nicaragua is a good place to run money through right now, but like you start getting into 8-9 figures, you know, the government's gonna want a big piece of it. And so yeah, the Bahamas has tons of money flowing through, so it doesn't matter. And yeah, we might make a trip out there soon.
Oh, nice. I heard beautiful things about Bahamas. So
yeah, me too. I haven't been yet. So yeah, flowing and growing. And then on that note of the fund, right now, Keon and Amalad knows Keon a bit. Brandon, you'll get to know him more as time goes on. We've been chatting with some investors here that will be based for sure in Mexico, but it's not going to be on blockchain, so it doesn't really matter too much where it's based. Yeah. And we're going to probably for the next like 2 months or so, just on a demo account, get a few, maybe only like 3 or 4 traders in on doing this. And then we're going to add to the team as time goes on and people are ready. But getting that synchronicity with the team rolling and decision-making process and all that. But I have investors here that are ready to put some money down to test out, to trade. And then They just want to start with like $5,000, but after 2 months, they want to see what we do with $5,000 as a team. And then they got $1 million ready basically to put down. So the fund will be awesome for traders. Another thing for people in the mentorship to kind of work up to contribute to that. But this is going to fund regenerative projects. It's going to offer awesome return for anyone to invest. And we want to open it up for I would like for people to invest if they only have $10, to get a return. We're going to guarantee a return. We'll make it really good. But we're gonna build the communities for people to go to either escape the matrix, but also awesome places for us, to assist and create, and especially with people that are on the fund and trading the fund. I have full intentions, just superstar service, hey, fly in, guys, I'm gonna pick you up with a helicopter, gonna take you to the property here, whatever you want, 24/7 food, smoothies, whatever, but the fund will help to, create a lot of this stuff and more, so much more. So that's also heavily in progress. So yeah, that was a whole long spiel on what I've been up to, what I've been focused on. But yeah, I'm feeling good.
Big moves, my dude.
Yeah.
There's some good traders in that group that I was in with Kean.
Yeah, it's tight.
Who's this guy named Zoe? What's his name? Poetic, yeah.
I don't know his real name, but yeah, he's really good. Yep. Him and there's him right now. This other guy, Christian, who's been at it for a couple of years. He just went through the Fibonacci program, and Ricardo, probably he's kind of busy over the next little bit. Yeah, just I think just them, maybe one other that he's mentioned, Keon's mentioned or has in mind. But full intentions to continue to grow the team, yeah. So, yeah, let you guys know. We're gonna release the new Discord pretty soon. That'll be part of that too, for the squad. So yeah, taking it day by day. Vision's this
It's an
big.
awesome update.
Yeah, I try to put it all in a day or two, and you just can't. So it's good, piece by piece.
Oh, for sure. Takes gradual steps, but focused steps.
Yeah, definitely. So
that's awesome. I can't wait to see how Token and Me will help people find their flow and have a good, honest feedback. And sometimes it's hard to be aware of it in the passions of life. And if you have something that a necklace that can just give you a little quick reminder, it's like checking the time on your watch. You just you kind of know already what time of day it is, but you just want to make sure. And I feel like the same thing with the flow is it's cool. It's a way of being integral with ourselves. And I think when people can see where they're at, honestly, it's not like it's gonna make them get into flow. It's just gonna help them get an idea, people out there in the world. And yeah, technology has a way of really being beneficial if it's used in the right way. So it's nice to see people using it in a proper way. And it's cool that she worked with Steve Jobs directly, because he was a real conscious minded individual, and pretty much the pioneer of the type of computers we're using today. So
I know, bro, I'm a freaking Apple fanboy. Got my iPad over here on my MacBook, iPhone charging,
yeah, bro, I love their yeah, they're good. It's clean and less, I think it's good. I mean both have their perks, but it's the OG. It's the OG.
Yeah, Steve is the man, bro. There's just, you think of Android, it's like Apple, you think Steve Jobs, you think of Android, there's no one like Steve Jobs that have, helped. So yeah, how are you guys doing?
Doing
Both of you, what's got your focus besides trading? Of course, I'm always looking at charts, in between. So
And we're gonna like on a lot of like emotional stuff, like internal, just trying to find something stable in a sense. And like I like this idea behind being able to turn your emotions in like that flow state into something physical that you can see, because it's like it's easy
Mm,
to do working out and like see the results of the body, but it's like when you do so much like internal work and like emotional and mental work, there's not as much of a physical representation of like, oh man, that person's emotions are fucking jacked, or like that person's mental state is like, there's no like, I don't know, I feel like it's hard to kind of put it into words or like show somebody something. It's like it's hard to kind of like express that and show that. And so I've been working like on a lot of like trying to find some sort of like emotional grounding, because it's like
mm,
physically I feel grounded, but mentally I feel airy. So it's like my emotions kind of it's kind of like I was talking to a friend yesterday, and like I was telling her that through everything that I've experienced and stuff in like the past 5 years, it feels like almost like an emotional like Groundhog Day. So it's like every
mm,
day emotions kind of get reset.
Mhm.
And it's like something I've been trying to understand about myself is just how can I, not being able to visualize, it's like it makes it hard tapping into emotions in the past or like emotions that I've
yeah.
felt before. And so I've been trying to like figure out and just like express and trying to understand how I can hold on to, not really hold on to, but find that like what is my medium, like what's the equilibrium of like where I'm at emotionally, because every day it feels like a new like day. So everything that I worked for yesterday, all those emotions that I built up, it's like they're all gone the next day, and it's
Mm,
just a constant cycle. And so like I've been playing around with that a lot, but
mm.
yeah.
Word. Um, there's a lot of great stuff that we could talk about on that. So I'd love to get into that. What do you feel like there's like, I don't know, when you say resets, it's like it's such an interesting thing. I mean, obviously sleeping always feel good, feel like it does feel like a reset. Every day's new, but it sounds like you're saying you lose momentum in a way.
Yeah, and it's like mentally I can see it, and it's like it's weird being able to see the answer and like know what the solution is, but not knowing how to put it into action or like how to actualize it in a sense, because it's like consciously it's like I'm aware of a lot of like what's happening with me emotionally, but it's like not knowing how to like actualize it or how to kind of like ground the emotion in a sense. It's like it just feels really airy. So like when I go to sleep and like wake up the next day, it's like the momentum's gone. It's like I don't know how to stay like motivated, and it's not even like a motivation. It's just like a zest for life. It's like that kind of
Mm,
like dies out. So I get super excited.
makes sense. Okay, you said that you can visualize the answer, but you kind of don't really know how to implement it. What do you mean by that? What's the answer to you?
It's not even an answer. It's just seeing what is, and it's
Okay.
like accepting what is, but it's mental. It's like all mental. And so it's like knowing the answer, but not being able to feel the answer.
Mm,
And it's like
makes
a weird thing. There's like no words for it. And it's hard to put into words. So I've been playing around with that too, just trying to make it make sense, I guess, in a way.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. Well, I have some practices that I think that help a lot. I can't remember. I did send you Cosmic Currency, right? And did I send you any other books too? Just that one for now.
You sent me the angel one, and then
Hi.
the archangel, angels and archangels, and then you sent me the secret science.
Okay, cool. Cosmic Currency is number one. Have you had a chance to get into that yet?
Yeah, I'm like halfway through it right now.
Tight. Okay. Page 43, 44. There's a practice. Um, I cannot recommend more to start implementing that practice every single day. It's like 10-minute practice. I made a video and I added it to the course like probably 2 weeks ago about this practice. I went a little bit more in depth. The video is more just about how to do the practice, which is dope. The video, if you go into to the course, it's in the fundamentals section, and it's like at the end, it's expanding consciousness is what the video title is. So watch that. But actually, I'll one up it. Actually, I'll just send you the YouTube link. I have it hidden on YouTube.
Yeah, I think I watched this one. It's like you stare at the wall basically, and like you visualize and like embody the feeling. And
Exactly.
it's similar to kind of Joe Dispenza's things, like feel the feeling, and then like there's like a visualization in there too. So it's like I don't.
But I'm not saying more the visualization, like, yeah, I think just doing, literally staring at the wall, 2 minutes, then flex all your muscles, hold your breath, staring at the wall still, don't blink the whole time. Do that for, like, if you can, for 2 minutes, you know, squeezing every single muscle, like literally interlock, and like look like you're about to pass out. I'm gonna do it right now. And I'm flexing my toes, I'm flexing my calves, I'm flexing everything at once, staring at the same spot, and you'll feel like you're gonna pass out. You might. I've never passed out, but who cares? If you do, you'll fall over. You'll wake up. But push past the feeling. You might initially doing it get to 30 seconds. You might get up to a minute, but you want to do that for like up to 2 minutes if you can. Then it's staring at the wall. Same thing, just staring same spot the whole time. And if you can't, like the way I say in the video is, yes, imagine like when you're breathing in, that you're breathing in light and then it's expanding outward. But if you can't visualize that, just simply feel that your awareness is expanding and repeat in your mind over and over. I am awake. I am awake. I am awake. And that alone, like just implementing that, it's like, you know, week and a half, you'll start to notice the results of it. Stability, yes, but I just feel the best thing I could say is more power. It's a powerful way to cultivate chi. And so I think that, in my opinion, it's the cultivation of chi or prana or life force that leads to, success in anything, and leads to better well-being, physical well-being, physical health, mental health, emotional health. That is the best practice that I can just like basic, just something to do every single day, no matter what. If you don't feel like doing anything else, if you don't feel like going outside, just taking a minute to just do it and set an alarm every day, whatever it is you need to do. And when you're doing it, the way I do it is I set a timer on my phone so that I can set this timer and put my phone across the room. So I'm not trying to like 5 minutes through, like, oh, am I done? Have I done 10 minutes yet? You know, like it takes away from it. And so I set the timer so I don't have to think about it. That's practice number one, I would say. The other thing then, if you're feeling it and you're feeling motivated, I would honestly start doing some qigong, some tai chi. I have a really cool intro video. I have a couple. There's different types. I'm gonna send you just a good intro video. It's not me doing it, but, and this is something, it compounds. So it's like, I want you to see both of these practices like anything else, man, like going to the gym. I don't really do the gym personally, but when I did, you don't get results by going to the gym one time. You know, it's you don't get results by doing it every day for a week. I mean, you're going to feel better, but the results come from consistency over time, compounded. So I think the initial practice, do that first. I'll still send you the video if you want to watch me talk about it again. Focus on that first and foremost, and then if you have the energy, go further. And then I'm really curious. I'm really curious about how hypnotherapy is going to go with you.
Yes, am I.
Yeah. So that's something I want to get. I actually think I want to do a phone call with Maria and you and I beforehand, and let's see there. But I want, before the hypnotherapy, I want you to start doing some of these practices to just start cultivating more of this chi, this life force, this energy in your space. Yeah. And the secret science, after you finish Cosmic Currency, then read the Secret Science. And then after that, I would try Angels and Archangels. Yeah, we'll get it, bro. Consistently, for sure.
Have y'all ever, sorry to interrupt, but have you ever heard of Ming Tong Gu?
No, please share.
I'm gonna put it into the chat, but he's like a qigong practitioner, but he does a lot of like guided movements with the breath and everything. He's an old uncle. He's got just like a real peaceful voice and just does these real slow, drawn out movements, and it's pretty cool. So I just discovered him. It was in this last year, I think.
Oh, heck yeah. Let's go. Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah, I think y'all would both like that guy.
Yeah, it's interesting. He does stuff with the moon. So it's a moon practice. Changing native thought patterns. Yeah, this looks cool.
Super dope.
Yeah, I think qigong is a beautiful practice to implement. I feel like it really just activates the movements that your body is craving. And a lot of times where the happiness we seek is on a physical level as well. Because sometimes like with a lot of religions in the world, or even people's mainstream ideas of spirituality, sometimes it's only on the mental and like astral realms, but then we also have this physical existence. So there's a lot of movements with the body, which as many ancient of our ancestors did, is they had engaged their movement with meditation, and it's actually it's a higher level than just remaining idle. There's so much can be done when you go into seclusion and isolation, and you go and meditate and you get away from the crowd. But there's a certain type of thing that happens when you're able to move your body with fearlessness, with confidence. And qigong is one of those things that gives you that full type of extension and the type of flows that that makes us feel more natural and aligned. And I feel that it was channeled in flow when human beings decided to embody this practice. And there's a lot of similarities in the history with qigong and yoga, connections over there. Even the ancient Egyptians had like those type of movements in their hieroglyphs in the writings. So it's just, the ancient world is a civilized world of high thinkers, and we had definitely a lot of connection with nature. And I feel like this type of project that we're all working on together is so that we can help ourselves and others go out into life and activate our being. And when money is not an excuse anymore, then we can focus on the things that make us happy. And I think a lot of times this type of like repetition of emotion and type of like groundhog feeling I felt is because of being in the system, having to get to a certain type of thing and have to do it because I have to instead of wanting. And that's the first experience I had of that was when I had to go to school and I didn't freaking want to go to school. And I was just like, why are they making me go to this place where how's it even benefiting me? I thought the most beneficial thing was when we can finally go into recess and be free from that prison, so
so funny.
But no, it's an interesting thing. We definitely we are doing some good work here, and it's natural the way you're feeling, the way I felt the same way. And I think that having this kind of group to support and see that we're not in this alone, that we're in this together. And yeah, we're gonna we got some good stuff to share with one another. Everyone's got their talents and skills, so it's time to let our light shine. Yeah.
Million,
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
million%. I gotta do more research. So the biggest, Amala, did Brandon ever tell you about aphantasia?
No.
No. Yeah, so Brandon has had a challenge since, I can't remember how old you were. You said you were 14?
Yeah.
14. He smoked for the first time, like marijuana, and had a crazy experience. And correct me if I'm wrong, but there's way more to the
Oh
story.
yeah,
But
you told me about it. You told me about it. You told me about it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so how he's it's very difficult to visualize.
Mhm.
Yeah. And is it just like super okay? So Brandon, you've been to the beach before, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if were to take you right now through like, all right, visualize yourself on the beach at the sunset, like, is it completely black or is it like foggy? Like, can you hear waves? Like, is there?
No, it's like completely black, but it's like words come up. So it's like the word of like crashing waves or like the word of sunset. It's like the word comes up and it's like it's so weird because it's like I don't know how to put it into words, but it's like visualization. It's not the same as it was before I was 14 and had that experience where it was like if you told me to visualize something, I could do it. And like I had super visual dreams. It's like now I don't dream at all. It's like since I was 14. And it's like I went through this transitional phase and it kind of like related to like Kundalini, where that's what made the most sense. It's like at the time I didn't know what the hell was going on. It was just super intense emotion that like it felt like you're basically getting like raped or just like punched in the face all the time emotionally, but not knowing where it came from. And so like
Yeah.
that taught me that I was kind of empathic, where it's like I feel other people's feelings. And like I was feeling these waves of emotion to the point where I just couldn't handle it. Like I mean, I was in high school, you're going through like emotional things already through puberty and stuff like that. So it's like triple intensified being empathic, going through that Kundalini stuff.
Mhm.
It basically got to the point where it's like I had to shut down my emotions because it was just too much to like internally handle. And it's like when I did that and like looking back, it's like I can remember the day, but there was like a day where it's like I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. And I was like crying myself to sleep every night to the point where finally it's like I stopped caring and it was just this like sense of relief. But I like haven't been able to like visualize. And so it's like I lost the visualization and then I lost the emotions. And then it was like I got to this point where it was just like a numbing void. And it was like in that numbing void that I kind of gave up or surrendered. And like that's when I heard that like voice within and I felt this for the first time, like the sense of like hope. But like yeah, when it comes to visualization and like the beach and like trying to visualize things, it doesn't work in the same way. And it's like I don't know how to explain it. It's like I've spent 14 years trying to like learn how to explain it in a way that makes sense and like the 3D, but
I
yeah.
wonder, okay, what if we're to do something like simple, like brushing your teeth? Could you like close your eyes and even if you had to put your hand in front of your mouth, like pretend you're doing it? Can you feel it?
No.
Nothing like that. Okay. It really does feel like if I'm tuning into it, I'm empathic. I don't like, I know there's plenty of empaths much like more in tune than I am, but I'm decent. It feels like there is a blockage for sure. And like, obviously, but I mean, like I can almost see it energetically where it's like, all is mind. And I feel like the all that everyone is tapped into, and even you are tapped into, we're all tapped into it. Yeah, I just feel like you kind of created that blockage. Yeah. I can just see like the color black, kind of like a cloud almost. Just on the idea of energy. And so this is where I've never like really worked with someone that's experienced this before. So I got to ask more questions. And like I said, I'm gonna talk to Maria and stuff, but I can kind of visualize what I'm thinking in my mind. Okay, what if you started to do things to cultivate energy? And I see more color when I'm like imagining you doing that. I'm not saying that it's a 100% cure, but I definitely think it's a step in the right direction. But just got to know that it's not going to be a 1 day, 1 week, 1 month thing. This is going to be so Qigong is amazing. It's powerful. It's great. That practice I told you is powerful. It's great. Reading is great. But constantly, and if you need to do some research, doing things that assist in cultivating that chi, that prana, that life force. I actually think that that's kind of where the memories, or not just the memories, but where visualizations and dreams and all that, I think that they're in the ethers here. And so that's also where the chi is. And every time we take breath, we're intaking that chi. And so I think in a way, it's kind of like by cultivating the energy, it's going to align your frequency and maybe open up these channels a little more. Yeah. Anyway, because the reason why I'm spending a lot of time thinking about this now is because a lot of the practices that I teach, not all of them, but a lot of them do involve some sort of visualization. And yeah, I want to make sure that we're still effective. I know I'm here for the whole process, what I'm saying. So we'll make it happen no matter what. But
Yeah, and it's interesting because it's not that I don't visualize. So the best way that I've like been able to explain it, and it's kind of like an analogy. It's like when you go to Google and type in like sunset, and you go to Google Images. It's like when you think of an image, it's like the image pops up. But for me, it's almost like web. So it's like everything that has to do with a sunset. It's like all of those words come up. So it's like blogs that have been written about sunsets, where they happen. And so this is like the weirdest part. It's like I almost have to be triggered into like communicating with people. So when somebody talks about something that I'm interested in, it's like all of these memory. It's not even like a memory. It's like seriously like a blog thing. And it's super cool. And it's like interesting. It's a total different way to visualize through not really visualizing. It's like when somebody types in Apple, it's like my shit pops up with every type of like mythology or like symbolism that has to do with apples. And it's like that's how I connect in a sense, but it almost has to be like brought out of me. And it's like I'm trying to figure out how to bring it out of myself where I don't need that. It's something that I consistently can tap into. It's like I don't need anything outward to kind of trigger it and bring it up. And so like, yeah, I mean, it's like, it's so weird. And I've come to this place where it's like I accepted it and like know it. And it's like I'm ready to kind of like transform it. You can kind of think of it like being in a cocoon. It's like the cocoon is still connected to everything outside, but the being that's inside the cocoon is like enveloped in darkness. And it's not like the frequency is low or anything. It's like I feel like I vibrate kind of on a higher level, but it's like I can't vibrate with other people because there's this kind of veil in between me and kind of the 3D world.
Yeah, that's a great way. The cocoon is a great way to put that. Okay. How about memories? Like, can you think about what you did yesterday?
Yes, it just kind of depends on like what it is. It's like usually the memories that I don't know. It's like, yeah, I can remember what I did yesterday, but there's no feeling connect to it. So it's like it's all mental where it's like I did this and did that, but I have no idea how it made me feel.
That just made, I think you just unlocked something for me when you said it's the feeling. I wonder if that's why, is when you're experiencing life, maybe you just have like almost zero emotion attached to it. Because I think about what memories stand out most in my mind. It's the ones where I had more emotional attachment to, whether that was like a traumatic thing or a really excited type of memory. And so that could be the secret, maybe.
no emotion, but how do you attach emotion to it? Like if you don't know the emotion.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing is like, when was the last time you cried, for instance?
I think like a week or two ago.
Okay, tight. Cool.
Yeah. And it's like,
Mm.
but it's like when I look back at that moment, it was like, I don't even remember what I was sad about, but I remember that it was something that, like looking back, actually, I can kind of remember. It was looking back on kind of like conditional love. And I was looking back at my childhood where everything was conditioned. And I give unconditionally too much in a sense, like to other people. And it's like it doesn't get returned. And then that hurts me. And like it doesn't feel fucking good when I do that for other people. But it's like it's almost my nature where it's like I enjoy doing it so much, but it hurts kind of giving, not being received in the same way in a sense.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean that was like the last time that I cried, but
Cool.
I can see you getting into gardening because
yeah.
you're giving to the plants a lot. It's a giving activity, and they return to you as well. So you start having a relationship with nature, like a little reciprocal relationship, and all your visuals, you're seeing all the colors that your soul is craving. You're interacting with the earth. You're getting the sun shining on you, and just being out there, you'll naturally feel at home, and you'll feel, you're right where you need to be. So I would encourage some gardening for sure. If you ever feel like if you're not stuck in a place you want to be, you could just be out with nature. And even if it's not necessarily going and planting a new plant, maybe go and trim a few plants and speak to them a little bit, feel them, talk to them.
Mm.
I would love
Mm.
for you one day come out here to Hawaii when you go on the trails and you go pick a mountain apple from the trees, and you just bite into that mountain apple, and you're just like surrounded by nature. It's like, wow, mango trees out here, papaya tree, just out in nature.
I want to feel that shit so bad because like I remember it mentally, like back when I was a kid, like everything was so expansive. So that's another thing, like too, is like mentally, there's no spatial awareness. And like that was one of the things that I realized is really limited, where it's like basically all I can see, it looks almost 2D, like life almost seems like 2D in a sense, where it's like all I can see is like what's in my visual
Mm.
space. So it's like, yeah, I'm in Florida, which is in the United States, which is on Earth, which is in the universe, but I can't like feel that. It's almost like a subconscious like awareness that those things, they're kind of the background. It's like almost like lost my background where it's just like
Hmm.
it's so weird. And it's like,
When's the last time you got to travel? Got to leave Florida?
well, I just moved here from Washington after spending like 5 years in my mom's basement. So this has been like a huge change
Oh,
for me. Just like
that's a
coming to
good shift though. Florida's beautiful.
yeah, and I felt it too. And it's weird because it's like I know I'm making progress and it's like I know I'm like making moves and going
For
forward,
sure.
but there's no awareness of it like subconsciously. It's like it doesn't like add into like
Well, you just said it, so it seems like you're aware of it.
I'm super aware of it. And it's like it's annoying not being able to emotionally be aware of it because it's like there's a mental awareness and then there's like an emotional awareness. And it's like emotionally, it's like
Well, how do you feel right now when you talk about it? Talk about the progress you've made towards where you're at right now.
it feels good, but it's like once we stop talking about it, it's like that progress feels like it's gone. So it's like I almost have to like hold on to it like in my mind. Like I have to think about it all the time for that progress to be there. And it's almost like think of if you had to consciously say hand move, hand do this, hand do that. It's like I almost have to do that with my emotions where it's like feel this and it's like it doesn't come up
Oh,
naturally. So
you have to speak it into existence before you feel it or before it happens.
yeah, before like I can actually like embody it. So it's not kind of like a subconscious, just like when you feel good, like you're having a good day. It's like throughout the whole day, you're just feeling good and like good things are happening. It's like I have to consciously be like, I'm feeling good right now. I've come this far. I've grown this far.
Bro, that's powerful because like the people in ancient times, they actually believe that when you speak, you actually your words can help redirect the mind. And that's why in the past they have like mantras, um anything you say is considered real serious, because every single word we use, it's creating our reality. And so, for me, constant, just from my outside perspective of knowing you already, you're already conscious and aware being. You've gone through quite a journey to get to where you're at. That's a pretty good, it's been pretty good progress. And I feel like the more you get out of your comfort zone, the more you go out into nature, the more you go out and live your life. Literally, like everything you need is outdoors, and it could be a good transition for you coming into the winter time now. Florida gets really nice weather in the winter. It's like really cool to be outside. I used to love just going on like long walks, and maybe you go drive somewhere like a place randomly out there in the forest, and just kind of cruise for a bit, bring some snacks with you, and just have a day to reconnect with yourself and just breathe, just be, see the trees, be a tree if you want, but I feel like, yeah, it's a good journey. It's a good journey. And these things that you're aware of, a lot of people can't say they're aware of them, the type of feelings are arising, or this type of like your desire to want to feel more, so that's pretty deep, bro. I think, it's a full circle. Sometimes we feel like we lose ourselves, we lose all of our pieces, and we got to remember ourselves. So remembering is when something's dismembered, you bring it back together, and and the vision sometimes could be the last one to come into to peace. But yeah, I think just keep working at it, and don't get too hard on yourself either, because you're not meant to be something you're not. You're just meant to be yourself.
Yeah, I feel like it's a process type of thing where it's like it's weird because it doesn't bother me like in the same way that other things can bother people, where it's like I know it's a process, but it's like it feels like it's going so fucking slow, and it's like so kind of like making me just be patient. And it's like I know that everything happens for a reason, like everything is basically for you. It's like just changing your perspective on it, and it's like just kind of doing it every day. So I don't know, it's like when I take action on things and I don't feel like inspired to do it or want to do it, or it feels like I need to do it. It's like I hate that feeling that comes up with that. But I'm also trying to like balance it between, okay, I'm being patient, I'm not doing anything, I'm having fun, just enjoying my day. But I'm also taking like, I want to find things that like you get that inspired action for. And it's like I want there to be some sort of consistency to work towards like a bigger picture in a sense.
Yeah, bro, you gotta try some new things for sure. There's so many things to try in the world. You never know. There's something out there that you could be in love with and you haven't discovered it yet. So
sure. I also I feel like there's just like it's kind of like a disconnect from the subconscious is honestly what it is. Because like if we take the fact that you feel like you lose all the momentum, you lose all the energy. It's like here in the now moment. I mean, the conscious mind only processes what's like the here and now, basically. And it's the subconscious that has all of our memories. And the reason that if someone can visualize a sunset, it's because they have a memory of a sunset, and memories are stored in the subconscious. That's where feelings about different events are stored. The subconscious doesn't just go away. Like it's always there, and every memory you have, everything you've experienced ever, every song, even if you're at a restaurant and someone was playing a TikTok on their phone across the restaurant and you heard music from it, your subconscious mind records that. I think it's just doing things and that's what also like the subconscious mind, I'm able to do more with my subconscious, the more chi, more prana that I cultivate. So I know it's gotta play a big part. And like Amala was saying, going in nature is one of the best ways, man. Breathing in that fresh air, like if you can on the beach is great. In some green trees is great. It's beautiful. Yeah. But it's just causing me. I have a couple mentors. I have Maria, the hypnotherapist. I have actually the author of that book, The Angels and Archangels, Damien Eccles. I'm getting on a phone call with him tonight, and he's a mentor a little bit, and I'm gonna talk to them more about this because I think I don't think it's that big of a thing, but keep doing what you're doing. And notice, even though just knowing that your subconscious is always recording, it's always like every time we talk about anything, when we're on calls, you're on a call with Amala in your life, all of it, it's all there. Even though it feels like it kind of feels difficult to access it right now, or impossible even to access it right now, it's still there. So have solace in that, knowing that you are progressing, and actually it may feel slower than what it actually is. But like trading, for instance, when you talk about when Amala is talking to you about trading, and you guys have gone in on everything that you've gone in on, we've talked a bit about it, and maybe we'll get to trading this call, maybe not. I'm okay with either. Like it's not like when you look at charts, like you don't just forget everything about the charts, right?
Yeah.
Like you kind of know, like when it comes to pattern stuff, like it's there, right?
Yeah, because I mean, even taken away from charts, it's like people. It's like I can read patterns in people really, really well, and it's not something that I have to like consciously do. And it's interesting that you bring up the subconscious thing, because like which is weird looking back on it, because like don't even think I really knew what the subconscious was and the conscious mind was when I went through this. But it seriously felt like my conscious mind and my subconscious mind switched places. And it was like my subconscious mind became conscious and my conscious mind went to like doing. And like you look at it kind of like the masculine and feminine. So it's like the masculine role took on the feminine role, and the feminine role now took on the masculine role. And it's like they almost like, it feels like they switched places. And I don't know why that thought came up, but it's like when I first had this experience, that was the first thought that popped into my mind. And it was like I was overthinking things to the point, because it was almost like survival mode. It's like the fight or flight. It's like, imagine being stuck in that state. It's like you can't run, you can't hide, because everything that's going, you can't run from yourself, you can't hide from yourself. It's just like you're in this constant state of just panic and just like craziness. And it was like that for like 6 or 7 months, and then kind of cut it off and just accepted it for what it was. But yeah, it's like I know that subconsciously it's like everything gets taken in, and I see that too with just like being able to read things and people patterns, and like I love doing that. So it's like I know it's there, and again, it's just it has a lot to do with like the feeling and like
Sorry, I'm getting really popular.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. You put that. I'm taking notes, by the way, to talk to Damien tonight. Damien is like, dude, he's a genius when it comes to occult wisdom. And occult has kind of a bad connotation, but the idea of occult is just the hidden knowledge. Basically, that's like the definition of it. And what Damien is a occultist, or another word for it is ceremonial magician. And magic also has negative connotations with it, and kind of the woo-woo stuff. But us talking about an idea that we want to manifest, that's magic. That's putting energy into something and manifesting it. And so there's an actual practice of this science, of this energy, that to work with it. And this stuff has been called the Science of Kings before. They only taught this stuff to royalty, but now in this awakening that's going on in the world, we all have access to all of it. So, okay, what I'm getting at is when I'm doing different things, like especially that book, Angels and Archangels, it talks about how to invoke angels into your space to either manifest things or to cultivate more energy. It's another way to cultivate chi or prana. But what the truth is that the angels are actually different aspects of our subconscious mind. And so this is what I want to talk to Damien about, just your situation specifically. I think that I know that in my experience, by doing this work, working with these specific angels, it has activated different parts of my mind. My visualization powers have definitely increased. They're like 10, 20 fold what they were just a year and a half ago. And on top of that, my consciousness of energy, of this chi, when it's flowing from me and when I'm gaining it. Like I can literally feel with some people, because chi is just like water. It flows to the lower places, you know? And so if someone's a lower frequency and we're around someone, we've done this work to cultivate this energy or chi or prana, it's going to naturally flow. So I can visually almost see my chi or my flow, my willpower flowing to someone else if I'm giving them energy, you know, even through just message. What I'm getting at is I feel as if, even though I don't have a full answer now, I feel as if we can do some work to assist in putting energy in that direction. And yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to like promise anything, but just being open and aware and yes, keep doing the things that if your childhood seems very similar to mine. And even though like trauma, just feeling that like going through and being and living in a space where love is conditional, that alone, like most people in the world go through that growing up. You know, we all have probably experienced that in different ways in our childhood. And so what I want you to know is that the healing process, especially with stuff like that, sometimes it needs to kind of go fully before we start to regain some of the things that we had before we went through these traumatic experiences. So what you've been doing, just being away, like living in your mom's basement, even if you were living across the street from her, if you saw her every day, it's going to just trigger. And even if you can't really fully see what's going on in your subconscious can. And it's going to trigger these different things and different memories and stuff, just like seeing her, all the vision, all the memories that are attached. So anyways, being in Florida, you've been now there, what, 6 months you said, right? Something like that.
5-6 months now.
And so that man, it took me years and years and years of being away from my hometown to start to like really step in fully to myself. Now, a lot of those years I was doing things unconsciously. I wasn't consciously trying to heal from things. But anyways, what I'm getting at is just keep trusting the process and just knowing the way the mind works and the way manifestation works, the way all of it works. I know it's tough someday. Like you probably wake up, if not every day, it almost might be normal now where it doesn't affect you as much. But you did say like it is frustrating sometimes to wake up and feel like you've lost all momentum. These are the moments now where we got to start to shift that thought pattern. Because what we're going to do is we're putting more energy into that idea, into that, even if that's what your whole entire world looks like and everything else in your world would convince you that, yes, this is frustrating. I have to, regain my momentum or rebuild it from zero. Even if that's what your world is telling you, we have to deny that heavily and forcefully almost, so that we can start to program better thought patterns, which are conducive to the expansion and I'm going to even say reconnection to what you had before and to who you are, really, to just your expansion and who you are. So there's a practice that I talk about, and I want to try it with you. It's I don't know if, we'll have to see, because there does involve some visualization here a little bit. But this is called, we'll call it timeline therapy. I guess it'd be timeline therapy. But I want you to think for a moment of that thought of like, oh, dang it, starting fresh, like that, just that energy, that feeling. I want you to tap into like, what is the experience of that for you? Is it words? Is it
Thoughts? It's like overthinking things.
Okay. And you said earlier, you kind of put a visualization of the energy of being like a cocoon. Can you do something like that for this energy, the thoughts and overthinking?
Put it into a cocoon?
No, can you give a visual like you did when you talked about a cocoon?
So what you're talking about right now.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is what you said earlier is like detaching or not being able to access these visualizations. It feels like you're kind of in this energetic cocoon almost.
Yeah.
And so that was it was a simple visualization, but it was a visualization. I want you to know. So I want you to can you somehow create a similar visualization, or even if it's a word description of the energy of this overthinking, this energy of this, dang it, I got to start again, you know?
Yeah, so I'm thinking almost like analogy, like analogies work best because it's a way to incorporate words in and like emotions. And like, that's what I think of when I'm like, it's not much of a feeling or a visualization. It's just an analogy that makes sense to me. So if I can think of an analogy for waking up and, oh, here we go again. I mean, the Groundhog Day would be kind of the visualization that I would think of, where it's like an emotional, like, oh, fuck, here we go again. It's like the same
Yeah.
stuff every single day.
Groundhog Day. So to me, that feels like frustrated. It feels kind of forced,
Yeah.
feels resistant, accepting a little bit, you know, like, here, this is how it is. But maybe you've even to the point of resisting that it could change, that it could shift and be different. To me, I feel like a jumble. Like, you guys ever see Charlie Brown, and they showed like the teacher,
Yeah.
and the teacher was speaking. It was like all this like blah, 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 blah. So that's kind of to me when you describe it. Okay, so let me explain the way timeline therapy works, and then we're gonna come up with a way, customize a few right now. So timeline therapy is where different memories come up, or different negative thoughts that a lot of times are attached to memories. So an example I use when I was a kid, I was in Toys R Us with my mom. She took a toy from me because we were there to shop for my cousin's birthday. And so I was like all sad. She's like, no, you know, we're here for your cousin and not for you. And so she took the toy out of my hand. She put it back on the shelf. And I was like, well, apparently I can't have the things I want. So I made that up about myself. I can't have things that I want because they get taken from me. So I had that would, if I allowed it, keep replaying in my life in different situations, because it's a belief that I had put into myself and just expected of myself. So what timeline therapy, the intention is to go into these memories or into these beliefs and replace them. You first of all, eliminate them, erase them, put tons of light into them, but then replace them with something more empowering, so that it's an automatic response for us to feel empowered instead of the opposite. Okay, so the way it works is when a negative thought comes up. So for me, let's say, oh, dang it, I believe I can't have the things I want. So maybe let's say I'm looking at purchasing an island. And then, you know, that could be an idea right now. Me thinking about that, it's like, do I deserve that? Can I, like, it's definitely where I'm at right now. Buying an island is a stretch for me. So I'm like, okay, when I think about the energy, why do I feel like I might not be able to have it? So that's where you can kind of see where I'm going. As soon as those negative emotions or that negative thought comes up, we have to start asking questions. So I'm going to ask myself, why do I feel I don't deserve this? Because I'm like, thinking about buying an island, you know, I'm like, well, you know, no, that's a great idea, Cody. And I don't even like give it, you know, sometimes give it thought. But if I really ask, it's like, well, I've never bought an island before. There's one reason why I don't believe I could do it. I don't have any personal friends who have bought an island, so I haven't experienced vicariously that through anyone. My parents never bought an island. And even the richest guy that I know, he hasn't purchased an island. And so I don't have the experience of actually seeing someone doing it. Plus then what's an island? Well, that's like your own piece of land. That's like your own country, you know? So anyways, I'm asking myself these questions. Why do I believe? Why do I believe that I might not deserve, or I couldn't get an island? And so now I'm getting my answers. Well, because this, and this. When you start to get the answers of why you believe this thing, then you want to start to you want to ask yourself, when was the first time that I thought this? And that what we're looking to do is get to what that memory is, the first time that we felt this experience. So whatever it takes to ask questions, you know, to get to that point, once we're there, that's where the real practice starts. So The first part is the hardest part is being conscious. I'm going to get to the practice. The hardest part is being conscious and aware of when those thought patterns come up, especially when it's something that's just happened year over year over year, and we haven't done anything to change that thought pattern. So to be more conscious of that, this is where that practice, that daily practice comes in that I was telling you, the staring at the wall, squeezing your muscles, and doing Tai Chi, walking through nature. These are all things that will make you more conscious. But if you want to just like put it all down to one practice, do that staring at the wall practice. That alone you'll notice after a week or 2 weeks of doing that, you'll feel more inspired to do more. It does. It gives you energy. It gives you focus, it gives you clarity. So, okay, going back to that. So now we've asked ourselves, so in your case specifically, it's going to be as soon as you start to think, oh, dang it, here we go again, like got to start from scratch right there. As soon as that comes up, stopping yourself, close your eyes if you need to, or say out loud, why do I feel this way? Why do I feel like this is the way it is? Why do I feel that, that there's not another way? Well, because for the last so-and-so amount of years, this is how it's been every single day that I've woken up. Okay, so does that mean that that's how it's going to be for the rest of forever? 100% sure? Well, no. And have you experienced a time where it wasn't that way? Well, yeah, when you were younger. Okay, so I know that it's possible. Just getting that, I know it's possible to experience the opposite. Now, when was the first time that I felt this way? When was the first time where I felt like I had to start from scratch emotionally or energetically every single day? And for you, you might have a memory come up. You might not have a memory come up. You might have a visualization come up. It might be words. It might be you see the date, January 26th, whatever year. You know what I'm saying? So whatever it is, this is where we normally what the practice is a memory comes and I breathe abundant white light into it. So the Toys R Us memory, getting something taken from me feeling like I don't deserve to have something I want. So when I'm thinking about the island and I say, oh, why do I believe I deserve this? Well, because my mom I don't think I can have an island because my mom took that toy away from me when I was 4 years old. Okay. So once this memory of me being 4 years old comes up, and I'm going to start to breathe abundant white light. I can imagine the sun going into it, or I can imagine something even brighter and greater than the sun going into this memory. And I'm doing this with every single breath until it's white. Now, you might not be that might not be easy for you to imagine this brilliant white light. But what I want you to do is whatever this memory, whatever it is represented in your mind, even if it's just words or it's the jumble that we were talking about, that Charlie Brown, I want you to just imagine it with every breath, it just like dissipating and going to white. Can you imagine like all white?
I don't know. I've never tried imagining all white because it's all black.
Yeah.
I mean, I can try it, like for sure. It's like I'm open to like basically like anything.
So what I want you to do is, if it means erasing it somehow, if you can, and you got to do this with your hand when this memory comes up, I want you to take the time to breathe the light, to breathe the energy into it. That's why practicing and cultivating these practices to cultivate the chi, or doing these practices to cultivate chi, are so awesome, because you'll have more of this energy to put into this. Whatever it is, however you need to imagine yourself completely erasing that. And then the key is to start to remember and focus on a time where it was not that way. So I know those memories might be distant for you, but can you remember a day in your life where you didn't wake up with that feeling?
I remember it like mentally, but it's like I've forgotten what the emotion feels like. And yeah, like remembering emotions, like what does it feel like to be happy, or like what does it feel like to be fulfilled, what does it feel like to be confident, what does it feel like to have those feelings? It's like,
okay, so right there, do you have definitions for those in your mind?
No, it's like I don't know. I've always felt it's weird. You can't like define an emotion. It's like what makes me happy is going to be different than what makes you happy. And it's like with everything, there's it's a different emotion, but it's the same feeling that we all get. And that's how we're able to kind of like connect and like understand each other. And it's like I understand deeply a lot of the dark shit. So it's like I can empathize with people that are going through like schizophrenic stuff and like bipolarism. It's like I can connect with people on that level because I understand it because I've kind of like been through it. So I can, and there's almost like an energetic connection there too. But it's like when it comes to positive emotions, it's like I I don't know how to connect on that same level. And like affirmations and stuff, it's like I've tried doing that. I'm confident, but it's like I don't know if it's a mind thing. It's like, are you really confident? It's like what I don't feel confident. And I've done it for like periods of time where I go through the affirmations every day. I write it out and I do all of these just practices and stuff. And like that's basically what the past 5 years has been doing. And like exactly what you're talking about. It's like asking questions. I've gone through and like healed everything that I can think of healing. And I do
Yeah.
have this weird connection like with spirit where it's like I connect in a physical way where it's like when I ask questions, I get answers from like synchronicities. And it's like I find the answers that I'm looking for, but it's like when it comes to feeling, it's like I don't know. And it's like part of me knows that it's like a process and it's just kind of like a just going through it. And it's like it's you can't make the butterfly come out any sooner than it needs to. If you try and help it break out, then you make it weak and it like dies immediately. And it's like that same analogy in a sense where it's like I know this is a process and it's like I know I want to fix it, but there's also this part of me that's like hold up and just like chill.
Process. Dude,
Yeah.
the fact that you just said that you already know that there is a breaking out, like
Mm.
it's okay, cool. Well, what I want you to do then is let's like to summarize it. I want you to, you can do it with that specific memory, but the key is to do this with any limiting belief or any negative thought or emotion. And I want you to do what you can to visualize it. And if you need to write words to like actually do this on paper, what does it feel like to feel this? Like that might be the way to do it for you. And then I want you to physically burn that. Actually, that's a great way to do it. There,
Yeah.
that way it's in your physical space. Write it out. If you want to draw pictures of what it feels like, you want to scribble all over the paper. Like I want you to do that, and then I want you to burn it. And let's see, today or tomorrow. See, today's the full moon, right?
That's it is.
Yes.
Today.
So I would say today or tomorrow is a good day to do it. Probably I would say more tomorrow because as the moon reduces, it's a great symbology to help reduce something from our life. And that's why it's good to do something that you want to like visualizations for what you want to bring in on the new moon, because then it expands it into your life. Okay, so yeah, writing all this down and then burning it. And I want you to then replace it with the opposite of what you're choosing to experience. And so this can be something also if you're writing down the negative, then write down the positive. And then I want you to put it where you see it all the time. And so you can do it once and hang it up. Maybe you do it once and hang it up every single day. But the thing with this timeline therapy is not just a one and done thing.
Yeah.
Just think about how many times you've allowed your mind to just like allow that thought, even if it's for 1 second. Oh, here we go again. And now I'm on with my day. How many times that thought has been allowed to go on? We don't need to give it the same amount of time to shift it, but we are going to have to be conscious of shifting it. So I want you to do, first, I want you to try to visualize like this, what the way I see some of these emotions, I see it as a cloud. Simply just a gray cloud. And for me, a gray cloud is really easy to visualize. And then I imagine the sun kind of coming into the cloud and it dissipating. So I do this every time. And then when the cloud is dissipated, it's all white light. Then what I do then is I'll visualize a memory or something that I'm replacing it with. Where you aren't able to do that, I want you to do the same thing, same energy, draw it on paper, burn it, or imagine it as words. And if you can imagine somehow those words being erased but putting this conscious effort into it every time. And if you can, imagine it as white. Just see if you can just simply go negative. You know what I'm saying? Just the negative camera filter is what I mean. And then the key is to make sure we're replacing it with something. So if you're writing it down on paper, then I want you to do the same, to write down on paper the new stuff. And so, yeah, every day. If you need to burn a piece of paper every single day, it's your ritual as well. It's great.
What about drawing? Like, I'm curious. Like, I draw a lot of stuff, and like a lot of it's like emotions on paper. And so like looking back on like a lot of the drawings that I've done, a lot of it has to do with like duality and like
Great.
opposites and stuff. And it's like
Behind you, actually, I was looking at that. It's pretty dope. A couple of your paintings.
yeah, man. And like this is the one that I just drew like recently.
It's amazing. Wow.
And it's like it's not even like what because I trace all of it. So those are just pictures that I find cool. And it's like I just put different pictures and then trace them all together, and like it's like kind of like a collage in a sense. But it's like I feel like there's some sort of connection there where it's like that is that kind of like barrier of like my emotions and like what it is, I guess, in a sense, to kind of like I'm totally behind the switch in the mindset. Like I'm about to do that like every day. But it's like I feel like the pictures and like drawings, it does something, it releases something, kind of like the burning of what you're writing out.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there has to be like a meaning behind it. And it's like with every like picture that I've drawn, there's a meaning like attached to it. And
Yes.
it's weird how like I'll draw something and then like the synchronicities just kind of like flow from like everything that I drew, and it's like answers just start like popping up.
That's dope. Ugh, art, dude. Art. Okay, so art is so that tells you right there. If you're feeling that, it's not like it's gone. It's just
Yeah. Dude, it's like right on like something like it's like right on the tip of your tongue. It's like you're at this like tipping point where it's like just go, just fucking
Yes,
go.
sir.
yeah.
And I'm
True.
just like I wanted to just like just push it just a little bit harder and like just get the fuck out. It's because like I know where I have been. It's like I can recognize it consciously. It's like I know I'm not in that kind of like negative space anymore, and especially since moving away and like you bringing up that not seeing your mother every day. It's like I haven't talked to my mom in like 3 or 4 weeks, and it's just like I noticed that there's little things that when she talks, it's just so fucking negative all the time. It's like I hate it. And it's like I used to feel bad about it because she's a good fucking person. Like she was a great mom for what she had or what she was given and stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like I can't be around that anymore.
Yeah.
And yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
It's a good step, bro. Honestly, even if you feel like if you feel like you're doing the wrong thing, but she's not gonna go anywhere. You're not gonna go anywhere. Everyone goes where they're meant to go anyway. So you're not in control of what happens to anyone in the outside world. You got to take time for yourself and get away from even family members for some time. I think it could be very beneficial. And then eventually you'll be able to come back to them in a different mindset, and they'll be treating you differently because of the time you've taken apart. They're not going to feel so comfortable to bring up the same patterns. And yeah, no, I think that's a good step for sure.
Heck yeah.
yeah, just like not
Yeah.
accepting it anymore. So it's like not accepting that behavior. It's like it's your mom. So it's like you're so used to, okay, you're just being you. But it's like I don't have to accept her the way that she is. And it's like it's weird too, because like starting this 5 years ago, it's like I've noticed how she's grown just being around me and like being in that energy and stuff. It's like her mindset shifted while I've like continued to shift mine.
For sure.
There's still been that like attachment in a sense, and like moving away has totally broken that like connection. Where it's weird because like after doing like hella work on myself for like 2.5 years, it's like I felt this break where it's like she didn't feel like my mom anymore. And it was like weird because it's like, yeah, she gave birth to me and like I grew up with her and like I have all these memories, and it was just like you're not my real mom. And like then I got into like all of the astral stuff and just kind of like having multiple incarnations. It's like you have multiple moms, but it's like
Right.
what's the mother aspect or like the feminine, that like where we all like come from, and it is kind of like this darkness. And like this is kind of like the positive that I get from like being in this like darkness all the time, is that it's like safe. It's like there's no fear of anything. There's no, I mean, yeah, it's boring and it's like there's not a lot of like stuff happening, but it's like it's safe and it's like nurturing in a sense. And it's like kind of like waiting those 9 months before you like get born. It's like you're in this protective space. And it's like once you come out, it's like then you're born. And it does feel like
Yeah.
kind of this death and rebirth process.
Word.
Reminds me
That's
of
like
Dao De Jing.
Yeah, Dao De Jing. And it feels like this I think there's been like a multiple deaths and rebirths on this like journey that I've kind of like been on, but it's like I feel like this is kind of like that big, the next step basically is kind of like that big like opening and like coming back into like the world in a sense.
Have you ever thought about ayahuasca?
Mm.
Ooh, that one kind of like freaks me out, especially because weed does it like,
Yeah.
because I feel like that looking back on it, it's like I don't not like weed. It's like I love the smell of it and like I love being around it, and like with smoking it gives me these like sensations that I don't know. I don't want to put myself through that again, but also there's this curiosity behind it. And I feel like ayahuasca is kind of like,
I heard you're not supposed to smoke ganja at all before you do your ayahuasca journey. It's good to be cleansed of everything.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, if you smoke weed, sometimes mix it with like mushrooms stuff, you have a whole different effect than if you just take mushrooms by themselves. So,
Yeah.
but who knows? I know I haven't done ayahuasca yet, but I know I've heard like people were able to overcome a lot of things like PTSD, you know, able to overcome addictions and have breakthroughs, like be able to see the world for the first time. They feel like they've never seen the world before. So sometimes people throw up a lot of things, like the negative emotions just like physically come out in their vomit. And it's supposed to be like, you know, the plant goes into your body and heals certain things in your organs, different parts of your body. So
it's
yeah.
unfair doing something like that, where he's like having trials of people that are going through PTSD and like they go through like psilocybin type of things. They put them on mushrooms or like DMT or things like that. And it's like it transforms them. He had like a podcast that was talking about how kind of like similar to you, Zeller, where there's this, I think he was not similar, I guess, but he had this thing that he totally blocked out in his mind when he was a kid. I think he was like molested or something. And he had no idea that it happened, but it was like 5 or 6. So it wasn't like something that you would normally like remember, like a big experience like that. And it was like him going through an ayahuasca journey, opened this up and it like showed it to him. And he was able to kind of like hold space for that and like heal it. And he's been on this kind of like journey the past like 2 or 3 years now, where he started this group that uses mushrooms and kind of like the DMT, psilocybin, all those type of things to help PTSD people face and do it in like a safe space so it doesn't trigger things. But yeah, I'm curious about it. It would have to be kind of, it would have to like feel right. I would
In the right environment.
Yeah.
With the right people.
Yeah. Have you done it?
We all know. Yeah, I have. Just it was 2 times, but it was like not one ceremony, but like 2 nights in a row, one trip. And yeah, really powerful. It's different than like other DMT, like you'd smoke DMT, because that's out of body. Ayahuasca very much in my body, but just aware of everything. It was like my subconscious was completely unlocked and I was able to walk around and see. And what I also noticed though is you're also open with everyone else, which is that's there, which is good and bad. Because good because I remember the first night there was this time I didn't get up. I basically just laid down, closed my eyes, and just went through the whole experience in my mind. And for literally like, it was like every few hours or so, I would do that. And every few hours or so, I'd get up for a minute and but the rest of the time I was just sleeping, just laying down. And I remember there was times where I felt like I needed to throw up. And I was like, oh, like, dang, but I don't want to get up. Like, I just want to keep my eyes closed and just be in this. And then as soon as I'm like, okay, and I released, I'm like, all right, I'll give up. I got to do it. I like start to push my body up. And then all of a sudden I hear someone in the background just, it's like throwing up. And I feel the energy coming from me and going to them like they had purged for me.
Mm.
And I did that also the next night. I threw up a lot, and I had done the same thing. I just felt like it was a give and take. So anyways, it could be good or bad. It could be good to be with yourself and just with your own stuff, but also being with people. It's having that supportive energy, just supporting each other energetically through all of it is really powerful too. Yeah, I think it's super awesome. And I think something to think about. I think that would be a really powerful, like it's tough doing it, but you like come out just like, oh, you feel so good. But anything that's worth it is tough, in one way or another.
Mhm.
So yeah. And I honestly, that was my coming out of the cocoon moment for
Yeah.
sure. I was out when I was younger, but then I had built the cocoon, and yeah, and that was just a few years ago now.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Set and setting definitely matter. It's not marijuana. We smoked like a couple days after, but yeah, before completely just like we fasted a couple days before and just got really, really clean to just be pure with it. There's this place in Costa Rica that they do it the right way. It's amazing. I'm alive. Of course, you can't go wrong. You'll go exactly where you need to go with ayahuasca, with the medicine. Like even if you go and you have an experience where you're like, like these people charge me 10 times more, you'll find that with ayahuasca, she's so like divine and intelligent. It's perfect. It's exactly what you needed. And so where you need to go and who you need to be with, it'll happen at that perfect time. And it's very motherly. Ayahuasca is the mother, like grandmother maybe, but it's just a powerful mother energy. And
It'd be cool if we all went to Big Island together and did ayahuasca there because they grow some on the Big Island as well.
I'm down, dude. Yeah, I'm down. I almost did a men's retreat a few weeks ago. That was gonna be a whole lot of that, but I didn't work out the timing. Yeah, man, there's so many things. So I love it though. Just to hear the way that you've been talking, Brandon, and it's just like, yeah, I know. It's like, even though you're like, it feels like it's going so slow, you're still though, like, I am getting better. It's getting better every day, and you're working towards that ultimate breaking out of the cocoon, and expanding your wings. And so, yeah, that makes me feel good, man. So I'm here to support. I know Amala is here to support in any way that we can. But yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find out some more. See if I can get more practices for you. Yeah, there's a lot of great stuff that we'll keep doing. Well, I know that scheduled time. This is like what we're hour and 45 minutes in. So I have the space to go through charts, but if you want to go, I can go with Brandon one-on-one for a bit, or if you want to do this another day, Brandon, I think from here, I know Amala in a week about you're heading out, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, on the 22nd to Peru.
Yeah. So maybe we can get at least, I don't know, maybe you guys can get one more session in, or we can do another one with all three of us again. Run through charts for most of it. And then of course it'll just be you and I from there on out, Brandon, except for when you're working with Maria. Yeah, I don't know where you guys at with time today. How do you feel? I'm open, whatever.
I'm pretty open until like I got the next 4 hours free. So
okay.
Kind of cruising and flow.
Okay. Brandon, you got, I don't know, another 30 minutes, maybe 20, 30?
Yeah, like another hour.
Tight. Okay. I'm going to shoot for like 30 minutes. First and foremost, I want to ask and talk to Amala, but trading. Let's go 100% on the trading subject. Where are you at? How you feeling? Is there anywhere anything specifically you want to get better on, focus on?
I haven't really like gone into any of the chart stuff. So like most of the stuff that I've been doing stock wise just been with like the sessions that I have with Amala. And yeah, I don't know. It's like what I like know that this is like the right thing to do, but it's like I want to do it, and like how you start it is kind of like how you'll finish it type of thing. Where it's
Yeah.
like I want to feel that like motivational, like I know it's what I want to do. It's like a knowing, but it's like I'm kind of like waiting on the feeling or like the embodiment in a sense.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like, and I feel like I understand it too in a weird way, where it's like it feels like I've done this before in a
Yeah.
weird way.
Yeah, I feel that.
Like, not like I don't know how, but it's like I feel like I could be good at this in a sense, because like I love patterns, and it's like just talking with Amala and like going through the charts. It's like, oh, this is clicking. Like it makes a lot of sense, but not taking action on it yet, and like not trying to force it. But
Heck yeah. Okay,
yeah.
so you feel like you have a good, like a pretty good, obviously you can understand candlesticks, you know, you
Yeah.
can look at a chart. Do you feel like you're starting to be able to see some of the patterns though? Like not just support and resistance, but you can see when it bounces, what we're looking at, what it entails?
I feel like I could be better at it.
Of
for sure.
course.
But yeah, like I understand kind of the basics, I feel like.
Okay. Okay, so what I'm gonna do today is I'm just gonna honestly flow through a couple charts and just analyze, and that's it. And what I want from today going forward, I want you to start taking action. And yes, I get it, it's having the feeling, but also sometimes the feeling comes by putting in that consistency, by putting in some of that discipline. There's I can't remember the word of what it's called in Japan, but there's this idea to start a new habit that you like, let's say you wanted to go to the gym, that you'd show up at the gym and you do it at the same time every day. And even if the first day you walk in the gym and then you literally walk out and you don't go and work out, as long as you do that at the same time every day, you set that habit for a few weeks. Even if for the few weeks you just all right, 6 a.m., I walk in the gym and I walk out, that's it, I don't actually work out. After you start to set the habit that that's what you do, it's then easy to lengthen the habit and to actually put more energy and more time and work into it. There's a word for that in Japan, but I'll figure it out one day.
Beautiful.
So I would say start every single day, find a specific time, and just tell yourself, all right, for 5 minutes, I'm going to open a chart and look at it. If you feel like you can put in more, 15, 20, 30, great. But I want you to start being consistent with it. I'm going to open charts, and this is going to be my ritual for the next, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, hour. And just do it every single day, same time every day. With Forex and with the stock market, obviously it does close on the weekends. So if if it works better for you to have that same mindset right now, to not focus on charts at all on the weekends, then good, then do that. That's fine. But the best way and the quickest way to set that habit is going to be day in, day out, day in, day out. So yeah, you can look at the crypto charts. You can look at Bitcoin chart on the weekends. So on that note, when it comes to the software TradingView, have you messed with TradingView yet? Do you know how to use it a little bit?
Yeah.
Feel familiar? Okay, cool. And then the broker that we're using is CoinEx, and that's mainly for Forex. You don't have to use CoinEx, but have you messed around with at least getting in either there or another broker in a demo account yet?
Yeah, I got a demo account set up, so it's like all ready to go.
Cool. Is that in CoinEx or is that another one?
Oh, CoinEx.
Tight. Good. All right. So I'm going to show you the process of what I want you to do. And then I want you, do you feel like if you could, or if I told you to like execute a trade, you know how to do it? Feel good about it? Cool. Okay. So I'm going to show you in TradingView how I want you to start going through and analyzing. And then if you feel inspired over the next week, I want you to actually make a trade. But what I want to see between the call we have this week and next week is I want to see at least 2 charts that you have, or at least 2 trades, whether you made them as a paper trade in TradingView or that you actually made in CoinEx.
Got it.
Sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay. So let me pull my charts up really quick. I'll share my screen. And the music. Gotta get some. I just realized there was no music flowing the whole time. Crazy. I can't believe I went that long without music.
I had some in the background here, but I didn't know if you all would hear it. It's probably too low.
No, I didn't hear it over there actually.
Oh,
Yeah,
damn.
that's-
It's all good.
What kind of music do you guys listen to?
Honestly, the stuff I listen to now, I listen to a bit of reggae for sure. I also I really don't listen to a lot of music with lyrics anymore. And it's just, it's more of like ambient, flowy type music. And I mainly did that because I listened to so much music with lyrics for so long that just had like a lot of negative stuff. And so I just want to give my subconscious time and space to allow those words of those songs to surface so that I could take the timeline therapy thing, breathe light and delete that stuff out of my subconscious basically. So by putting in new words, it doesn't always, I don't know, for me, it's good to give it space to clear out the old stuff first. But yeah, this band of women singers called Beautiful Chorus is like the most positive, uplifting, just like amazing lyrics. Like one of their songs is, it's just like they repeat all over and over. Love is all there is. Love, like it just repeats over and over and over. And yeah, I love stuff like that.
Listen to like Chill Step.
Chill Step's good too. Yeah, you'll have to send me some good mixes if you have anything good.
I got you on that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm into that. Okay, let me see here. Share my chart. I think I gotta update my computer. It's going a little slow today. Okay, you guys see it okay?
Yeah.
Tight. All right, so we'll flow through. I'm on the 1 hour now, but I like to start on either the 4 hour or the daily. So I'm gonna start. Have you messed with Bollinger Bands yet?
I haven't. I've messed around with them. I think me and Mala went over a little bit, but I haven't done it like by myself yet.
Perfect. Let's start without them. And then I'll add if it's necessary. Okay, so I like to start on the daily or the 4 hour, and then kind of work my way down in the time frames to wherever I do. So where you are going to consistently trade the same time every day, and I would say putting in like goals should be put in at least an hour, if not 2 or 3 hours. But consistency. If you can put 2 hours a day in for the next like 2 months, great, be awesome. Be awesome. Okay, so we're thinking of that. If I'm putting 2 hours a day in trading, we got to ask ourselves, with the trading style, am I looking to make some trades in that time frame, like just quick trades that are gonna, like I'm gonna be out of by the time I'm done with that 2 hour time span of looking at charts, or in the course of those 2 hours, am I looking at charts to maybe find a trade that I might get out the next day? What I would say though is starting out, it'd be really good to go all the way down to maybe the 15-minute, and you might feel inspired even to check the 5-minute. All these are fractals, okay? So the patterns that we talk about and we teach, you can find them on the high time frames, you're gonna find them on the low time frames, you can find them on the low time frames, you're gonna find them on the high time frames. So that's what's great about it is when we're watching the low time frames, we're watching more candlesticks happen. And so in a way, we're going to be able to learn this quicker instead of waiting for the patterns to play out on the higher time frame. But looking forward, if you're a 7-8 figure trader, you're not going to be worried about what's happening on the 5-minute chart. You're going to probably be looking for trades that might last you a couple months or even a couple years, because it's the big win, So knowing that that's the natural progression of things. Yeah, so I would say for you, why don't I start the way I would have you start? I would start charting probably the 4 hour. And then I would go down to the 1 hour. Let's see if it aligns with the 4 hour. And then I would go down to like the 15-minute. 30-minute. Okay, so I'm gonna start here on the 4 hour. I have my list here. I'm just starting right at the top. So this is exactly what I would do if I got into charts. I'm gonna remove all my lines. Let me remove all the stuff that you're not gonna look at right now. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna plot support and resistance. So just to be clear at what levels I can see things might bounce or not. Now, right off the bat, I'm most interested in the area where the price is. So I'm just simply looking at the peaks and the valleys, the highs and the lows. And I'm going to find those highs and lows and see where they line up or they've been touched multiple times. So I see one here, and we can see that because we can just see right here, what, a couple days ago, touched it. This one might count it, but not as clear. We can see that right here it was support, right here was support, right here it was resistance, back here it was resistance, right here support, right here resistance, right here resistance. So beautiful line there. I'm going to do above and below. So I see one here. Draw that one there. And draw that one there. And honestly, it's pretty good for me right now. Let's see if there's any other extras. Yeah, I mean, I can draw one down lower here, but just getting those major lines where I know it could bounce. All right. So I drew my support and resistance. Now, what I also could do is I can go down to the 1 hour and just see if there's any other levels that I didn't really see on the 4 hour that are important. Right here. I drew this initially because I saw this bounce, this retest, and I'm even going to move this up just a little bit. So I can see that I touched it here, touched it there, touched it there, touched it there. So that's like one other level that I see. Now, remembering fully that these are not, I drew it as a line, but it's not a solid line. It's a box. It's an area. So really what it looks like is that. So if we need to draw it out initially while practicing this as a box instead of a solid line, please do that 100%. Because even though this wick, it pierced, it went down this low, way lower than here or here, a little bit lower than there. It's the same level to me. So the way that you'll do that is you just come over to the same line drawing tool and you'll come down to parallel channel. And then that's where you'll be able to draw that box instead of drawing the solid line. So do what you believe is best, but just remember that it is a range. It's not exact. So, okay, drew my lines. I went down to the 1 hour. I added one extra line that I didn't see before. Even though these candles are all below here, I remember that it's a box, it's a range, it's not an exact. So this is the same level as this, as this, as this, even this one, this. Cool. Okay, now I got my lines drawn. Next thing I'm gonna look at is what's the momentum? Like, what are we doing? Are we moving up? Are we moving down? In this case, actually, it looks like we're kind of going sideways. So we were going down from here, but we've already been down this low before. So to me, it's just like a big sideways movement. In this case, I'm going to go out to the higher time frame just to see if I get a better idea of the direction, because I want to go with the flow. If I'm surfing, I want to ride the wave. I'm not going to try to go against the wave. So honestly, on the 4 hour, it also looks like kind of sideways action. So I'm going to go out to the daily. And daily overall, we've been moving up. But also, and the way we know that we're moving up is here's a low, here's a high, here's a higher high, higher low, higher high. That low is about the same, higher high. Here we end up going higher, higher high, higher low. Here's a right here. I mean, this one compared to this one is a higher low. So I would say overall, we are trending up. At the same time, we have to look at the fact that we touched this resistance here twice, and we didn't really make a higher high this time. Technically, we did because the candle bodies closed higher than the candle bodies over here, but it still moved down from the same spot. Okay, so I drew my lines on the 4 hour, the 1 hour, and then I had to go out to the daily to get the general direction. The general direction right now, to me, even on the daily, I would say is sideways, because even though we were moving up, we've rejected now. We weren't able to make a higher high. So to trade this, I'm more probably open to waiting a little bit to see what happens. But I'm going to show a couple more things that would help me to make a decision on trading, or make a decision on if I'm going to trade this chart specifically. So other things that I can look at to know momentum is comparing individual movements with each other. So here I see this as an individual bullish movement, upward movement. I see this as an individual downward movement. This is an individual upward movement. And I'm looking, basically these individual movements are more than one candle for sure. Sometimes more than 2 candles, just depends on the candle size. But where it moved strong in a direction until we basically moved 2 or 3 candles in the other direction. So I count this as an individual because we got 3 candles right here. We rejected with a strong wick, we moved down. Then we went up, then we went down. Then we went up, and we went down. So comparing these movements, this right here is a great bullish movement that has not been overtaken yet. Then we move down, and we can clearly see this next bullish movement strongly overtook this bearish movement. So in this up, down, up, the bulls have more strength, they have more power. But then look, this upward movement, we didn't overtake it right here, and we bounced right when we retested that same exact area of this upward movement. We bounced up, but it didn't last. Now we could have predicted that it wouldn't have lasted, the bounce, because look how long it took for us to go up, how many candles it took to get from here to here versus how many candles it took to go down. It's like literally 1/3, you know? So because of that, we can see that the momentum of the people selling is a lot stronger than the momentum of the people buying. And then, of course, we're proven that by the fact that when we start to move up, it doesn't last and we end up moving down lower. Now, we still didn't overtake this initial bullish movement, and we still haven't. So it's, one thing to mention. But then we come down, we make this upward movement here. And we did actually overtake the downward movement, but not very strong. Now, when I say overtake, I'm speaking specifically about the candle bodies. When we close the candle bodies above the beginning of this bearish movement, the candle bodies, that tells us that we did overtake it and that the people buying technically have more strength, more power. But even though we moved down right after, we bounced, we didn't get continuation. So what I mean is we had this strong upward movement, and we did technically overtake this bearish movement down here. When we came down, we retested, we bounced, we didn't continue higher. So that tells us that, okay, even though it looks like the people buying that upward momentum is stronger than the downward momentum, because here's the downward momentum, and on the upward momentum, once again, we overtook it. And then we had this downward momentum, and this downward momentum did not overtake this whole upward movement. Even though that happened, when we continued, since we didn't continue higher, we got a question on, okay, do we actually think that the people buying have more strength, or do the people selling have more strength, or maybe it's an equal battle? And so far, honestly, it's still just, as I break it down more and more and the different price action recognition, patterns I'm recognizing, it's looking more and more like it's kind of a stalemate at the moment. It's like kind of a sideways movement, because then we came up, and then notice how right here, this downward movement, talking about the candle bodies, we overtook this upward movement. So initially this upward movement could not, it did overtake this downward movement, but now this downward movement just overtook this upward movement. So over the grand scheme, like over all of this, everything that we see on the screen, it looks like it's an equal battle at the moment. I'm going to have, though, right here, if I take all this stuff out of the picture and I'm looking just right here, I'm going to be more interested in selling because of the most recent movement. The most recent thing that happened is that the people that pushed the price down we're able to push it lower than where the initial upward movement started or the previous upward movement started. Are you following everything I'm saying? Making
Yeah.
sense? Cool.
I'm curious, like where it's going down right now. So it kind of looks like it's taken a while for it to go down compared to other places where like within 3 or 4 candles, it just drops super hard. But it's like this newer movement, it's taken like quite a few more candles for it to get as low. Like, what is that an indicator of any kind? Like, you still think it's gonna go low, just kind of like little bit by little bit, or like,
Right now, I would say I'm kind of in this. I think that both could happen, and I'm just gonna jump to my conclusion on this chart. I wanted to like get there with you guys, but I would probably just move on from this chart at the moment and wait to see better direction. But the reason I believe that it's more likely to go down is because here we came down. See, I don't know, I'm even, but we just hit like here we came down and then we bounced up a little bit, and we can see with this wick that we resisted off of this line here, which was also support here. So it kind of flip-flopped. And then when we came up, we went down, came up, we tested it again with a strong wick. The challenge though is, once again, let's look at upward and downward movements. So here we had a downward movement. We can see that, well, downward, we can almost count this as an upward, but I still would count this as a full one. But notice how when we bounced that we saw that rejection basically at the same area that we saw this strong wick, just a little lower, but same area. So these upward candles could not overtake this downward movement, let alone just these two right here, because we did kind of get a pause and it looked like it could have bounced with that wick there. But then on top of that, we didn't continue down, at least so far. We don't know. We got to wait to see. We got 2 hours left till this candle closes on the daily. But here, downward movement, upward movement, and notice this downward movement so far was not able to overtake this upward movement. So that tells us that, yeah, stalemate. So I believe that it's more likely to go down because the overall larger bearish movement and the price action is more largely bearish. Because when we're bouncing, like look at right here, when we came down and we got some strong wicks, like look how strong we bounced.
yeah,
It didn't last, but now look at, we got some, here's a strong wick, here's a strong wick, and look at this weak sauce bounce so far. Like it's not really bouncing. It's more of just like, a little bounce then kind of. So I kind of believe that we're going to go down a little lower, but I'm open to waiting. And seeing. So at this point, I would add Bollinger Bands, which are a great filter. If the moving average is an awesome indicator. And if we're below the moving average, it's most of the time, it's better opportunity to look for a sell. And if we're above, it's better opportunity to look for a buy. But also we have to look at, when the candles close outside of the bands. In this case, we couldn't close outside of the bottom Bollinger Band. And that's a strong sign that when we close strong wicks, or we have strong wicks, and when we close the candle bodies inside of the bands, it's a strong sign that we'll at least test the upward band. So that's another thing too. So yeah, I think this is kind of a stalemate overall. I don't know, man. See, what I would say is if we break above here, this honestly could be a good buy, and I would say maybe up to this level. But to me, I would rather wait till we either break up or we start to break downward to actually make a trading decision. So in this case, what I might do is go out to a higher time frame. And wow, look at this. We have 2 days left on the weekly. One of the strongest indicators on Bollinger Bands is when we've closed or when we've like tested or touched the top band or closed outside of it even. And we come back and we retest the moving average. It's a strong indicator to buy if we're showing that as support. So here we can see strong wick, then we got a bullish candle and we end up moving up. So notice now that we've come down and we're touching this moving average here. And last week's weekly candle, we got a strong wick, and that is a reversal candle, this doji, this dragonfly doji, because it's after a bit of a downward movement, that strong wick on the bottom. Plus this last week showed support in the same area, but this one was a little bit higher and the wick ended a little higher. So that shows me buying momentum on the weekly, but it looks like there's still indecision on the 4 hour and on the daily. So let me go to the monthly. Yeah, monthly kind of, it says it could come down. It also says it could go up. So monthly, we're rejecting off the top band a little bit, but we did just have a candle body close above the previous bearish or bullish movement. So okay, all in all, what I'm saying is it's good to wait. And in this case, I would want to wait to see what the weekly candle looks like to maybe make a better decision. Or, definitely see what today's daily candle looks like before I make a decision. So even though, I told you that in your case, you would probably want to start on the 4 hour and maybe the 1 hour and draw lines there, just like where we started on this chart. Eventually you're going to make it down to the 15-minute. We did go and look at the weekly and the daily because we don't really see a direction, a solid direction on the daily, 4 hour and the 1 hour. So, and even the weekly, we see potential, but at the same time, it could just go down from here. We're not getting the continuation that we, strong continuation that we would expect if we wanted to get into a buy, So, okay, chop it up. What would I do from here? On the 4 hour, I probably put an alert to tell me, hey, if you go above this level, then let me know, because this is where we're rejecting so far. Is this area here. So if we go above, that means we could go higher and I could watch what the price action looks like. And then oppositely, if we were to get into a sell, I'd probably put an alert down here. So you can see that here I have my resistance level that I drew out. So I put it a little bit above that. I also did it because of the price action. Here we got a strong wick kind of rejecting, and here we actually touched it and then went down. And then oppositely, I have this other orange line here where I put it below that, partially because that's the support level, but also because the moving average here, we have to break down below that. At that point, that's going to start to tell me, oh, okay, we made a high and a lower high. And if we go down here, that tells me that we're about to make a lower low potentially. So I got these alerts, and then I have the app on my phone with TradingView. So if either of these lines gets touched, it's going to alert me on my TradingView and I can pop it open. So, okay, I moved on from here. I know I started from scratch on the other ones with drawing support and resistance lines on the last one. I'm not going to do that because that alone takes some time. I already have my lines drawn. So I moved on. Yeah, you see that?
I see that wedge.
So this is USD JPY. I drew this green box because I think that when we finally break down, that we'll test here. I don't know if we're going to break down though. I mean, I do actually. I believe that we will. I believe it's started to happen. A lot of what's telling me is what I like to call trend bend. Trend bend is, to put it plainly, we talked about individual movements. Like, look how strong it went up here, and then it came down. And then look how strong this went up before we went down really strong. And so it's like this movement is a lot shorter than this movement. And now we can see that we're kind of going sideways. Yeah, still moving up a little bit, but the momentum is slowing. So this wedge is a good indicator of that price kind of squeezing, getting to a point where it's either going to expand rapidly. If it breaks one way, it's going to expand rapidly, whether, doesn't matter which direction it breaks. So whether we break the top of it or the bottom, it just so happens though that with upward pointing wedges, it's more often that we break downward, and opposite with downward pointing wedges, it's often that we break upward. So in this case, the wedge is pointing upward. And on top of that, we've had this strong momentum for a while now. And British pound, US dollar versus Japanese yen, has only been this area one other time. And that was back in 1998. And so I don't think that we're just going to blast off past that. And I don't think we're going to blast off straight to that level as well. I think we got to experience some kind of retest, regain some fuel before we go higher, if we're going to go higher. So it's not I definitely wouldn't buy because we've just been moving up so strong. Also, the trend is your friend. If we were looking at buying somewhere around here or maybe even down here, could have been better. But I believe right now it's not the best way to do it based off price action. So yeah, from here, I'm going to move on. I'm going to be more detailed as to explaining why. Let me go to the 4 hour because I'm it's not a good risk to reward ratio since like basically 1998. It's not, with where the price is right now, it's not a good risk to reward to try to get into a buy here. There's a much higher risk to reward getting into a sell, but also I'm not going to get into a sell because clearly we are in a strong upward momentum and the trend is your friend. And I'm not going to try to battle that right now. I'm just going to be patient and wait. So boom, going on to the next. Okay, right off the bat, Euro USD, we're moving down. I know we're going to find a trade. I can feel it. Might be the next chart or two. I'm not going to take too much longer though. I'll maybe skim a little faster through these. I just wanted to be more detailed, like the full process. This is the process that I want you to do, like when you're putting your time into the charts, Brandon. Okay, so we can clearly see it's moving down. Now I'm going to go to because we're moving down really strong, we've been moving down. I'm going to go to the higher time frames just to see if there's a chance that we could continue to go lower. Also knowing I'm here on the 4 hour, we moved down really strong and we just got we got a little impulse here, but we just got this really strong bullish candle that this one candle overtook this whole downward movement right here, from this top to this bottom. So on top of that, we just technically created a higher low, even though it bounced at the same, the wicks touched the same part. Looking at the candle bodies, here's a low, here's a higher low. So, okay, we're getting divergence, that path of divergence from the path of moving down. So we're starting to diverge upward. I am going to put on Bollinger Bands actually just to see. Yeah, so we just touched the bottom band. We were closing outside strong, we've gone sideways. We're right at that moving average, which is a strong resistance level. Notice how last time we were moving down and we came up when we tested that level, we moved down strong even more. I don't think that's what's going to happen now because of how strong this candle is, this bullish candle. So I think maybe this candle comes down, we have a wick, and I bet we end up closing this 4 hour, which we'll know in an hour and a half or so, hour 45 minutes. Either this candle or the next couple candles, I think that we're going to actually move up a little bit. And this would be the first resistance level that we check. So, okay, we got this strong upward movement. Looks like we're retesting. Let's see. Let's go lower on the time frame to see if there's a decent trade here. So beautiful. I'm on the 1 hour here. Now on the mindset of momentum, another thing that Bollinger Bands do is they show us a lot more clearly what the momentum is. So I told you, one way we can see momentum is like comparing the size of a movement, comparing like, oh, this bullish movement is smaller than this bearish movement or whatever, bigger. Bollinger Bands show us that by the candles closing outside of the bands. So we can see really strong, like right here, we did barely close outside of the top, but like, look at last time we checked the top end, we didn't close outside of it here, but we closed outside of the bottom. Barely close outside here on the top, but then we close outside of the bottom again. Couldn't close outside of the top here, close outside of the bottom. Couldn't do it on the top here. And then we closed outside of the bottom on all these. Well, now look how it's changed. We tested the bottom band. We didn't close outside here. This one, we closed outside. Now, when we retested the bottom, we couldn't close outside. It's been a while since we couldn't close outside of the bottom band. So that to me is a strong sign of reversal. So we couldn't close outside. We got these wicks that showed support. And then we got this strong upward, this strong bullish candle. Now we're coming down a little bit, but notice it was like kind of one, but kind of two, but basically one bullish candle that not only overtook this downward movement, but also this whole downward movement as well. And it closed above and it made a new high. So, okay, this is starting to look like I might be able to catch a trade here. Now we're coming down a little bit, and notice how as we're coming down, it's not able to come down nearly as fast as it just went up. Like we're 1, 2, 3, 4. We're on the fifth downward candle now. So that tells us that the strength isn't so great. And also, okay, this is an hourly candle. So we can see we have 40 minutes left. So we can't make an assumption on what's going to happen, but we just had a large candle. And so if we're going to keep moving down, we're going to need a large candle as well. But we're 20 minutes into this hourly candle and it's not really moved too much. So as we're approaching this moving average, which also I can draw a little support line here. Bing, right? Because we saw this as resistance. You can see it was resistance here. I can draw it out even farther and notice how it was support here and it was resistance here. So I can also see that that level is not only because of the moving average, we can see them lining up, but also because multiple times we've tested that level. So to me, this is already, once again, I got all these reasons where this is gearing up to be a potentially pretty good trade. Not a position to enter right now because we're in a downward movement, at least on this hourly candle. So I'm going to go down to the lower time frame. I'm going to go to the 15-minute now, see what it looks like. And okay, like I said before, it's good to get into a buy when we're above the moving average, and then maybe look for sells when we're below the moving average. So on the 15-minute right now, we are below it. But once again, we can see how fast this upward movement happened versus how slow this downward movement is happening. We haven't closed outside of the bottom band, but we're getting really close to testing it. And the fact that the bands are coming together and while we're moving down instead of as we're moving up, notice right here, boom, 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 boom. As we were moving up, the bands were kind of spreading apart, giving that momentum. So now that they're closing as we move down, that's a strong sign that we're probably going to bounce in the other way. That they'll start expanding when we get closer to that and remove the whenever that retest is. So anyway, it looks pretty good for this green line. So I'm going to draw this out. I'm not actually going to make the trade because I don't have confirmation yet. What do I need to see that this is going to bounce? Well, what are price action? What are signs that something's bouncing? Let's look at a couple things. We got wicks, getting some wicks before, as we're testing a movement. That's always a good sign. Some buying pressure, and it works in the opposite right way too. The wicks on the top show the downward pressure, strong wicks at the top of this movement, downward pressure. So maybe we'll see a decent wick at this area. Also showing that we're actually reversing, getting an engulfing candle. So we can see right here, we got a doji, which is a strong, or is a reversal candle pretty often. And then we have this candle that engulfed. The body was bigger than the previous body, a lot bigger. And so we can see that was a sign that we ended up moving upward. And then look at, we got those wicks. So it came up, came down, got some wicks, moved up higher. Oh, beautiful. Hold up. There's a butterfly. I want to show it to you guys. Oh, did you see it? Wait, he's here. Don't fly away. He's really cool. Or she.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Super cool. I don't know what the outside looks like, but anyway. So we want to wait to see some of those same type of signals at this level to tell us that it's going to bounce. So, okay, coming down, I'm going to look at the 5-minute now, and 5-minute, I'm not really seeing that. I'm definitely seeing this downward trend. So I don't see a sign to enter yet, but I will say that it's coming. So let me draw out the potential trade just to see what it would look like. To me, I'd enter maybe around this green line if it shows that it's going to hold this support. So this is where I got this little trade drawing tool on my side of my menu here. If you go find the ruler and you go up 2, but also it has these lines and these little circles on the edges of the lines. I'm just going to draw. I went to a long position. So long is buy, obviously short is sell. So I'm going to look at, okay, if we test this area and we move up, I'm going to check where my take profit, where my stop loss would be. So if we successfully make this as a lower low or a higher low, I'm sorry, here's a low, and potentially we're hoping and intending, I don't want to say hoping, we're intending and looking for this to be a higher low. So I got to think, okay, at what point is my trade invalid? And so if we do successfully do this, my trade would be invalid. To me, the major level is going to be overtaking the strongest part of the bullish movement. Since I'm looking at this 15-minute, my stop loss would probably be under these candlesticks. Now, if I was looking at the hourly, then my trade is nullified under the low. So I'm going to put it low, like right here. And then now I'm going to look at where my potential take profit would be. And I'm going to plan for, see, we've started to create this upward trend line. So I'm going to plan for that. Now knowing that it's going to play out and it would probably kind of touch over here based off of the movement. So I'm kind of eyeing and just imagining based off of these other bounces, how might it kind of bounce? And so we can see here. So this is me drawing out what the trade would look like. Now, I'm not obviously making the trade. I'm going to wait for confirmation. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do two things. I'm going to put an alert down here just in case we break. Or, maybe we get a strong wick that touches that. So it tells me to look at this. And then also, I'm going to want to see if we start to bounce. So I'm going to put a little alert right here too, because we're obviously moving down. And so if we bounce, then I might want to check to see what the price action looks like. So now I got these alerts and they'll come straight to my phone if it looks like it's going to, go one way or the other. So, cool. Okay. So this is the process. Now, I'm going to share with you trading rules. When I said I want you to have two trades, this is where, so have you used this trade drawing tool, or has Amala explained this to you or showed this to you before?
Yeah, we've looked at this before.
Type. Okay. So this shows you all the levels. Like if you were to actually go over to CoinEx and make the trade, this gives you all the levels that you're going to make your trade. Let me buy here. Here's my stop loss. Here's my take profit, right? So if you feel comfortable, if you feel like there's confirmation, you're like, yeah, this really looks good. But you're in a demo account. So even if not, like just start doing it. But I want you to, if you feel it, make the trade in CoinEx, but at minimum, I want you to draw it out here. So when we get on a call next week, I want to see at least two of these trade drawing tools where you analyzed the whole chart, and you, even if you didn't actually execute the trade, you at least planned it out.
Cool.
And if you come up to it and you're like, I don't know where I would put my stop loss, eye it out and let's go over it. Take a note, and let's go over it again. If you don't know where you think it would go, where take profit is, just draw it out where you possibly think it could go and take a note. And then let's talk about it next time. I gotta put my computer in. So that's the full process. Now, obviously, when I analyze charts, like it goes way faster than that. It's just that I'm taking the time to really break it down and explain it in detail. So you may notice as well that as you're analyzing your charts, it goes faster. It doesn't it's not as drawn out as what I just did. So, yeah, you think that's doable? Just two of these?
Yeah, I can do that.
Like, heck yeah. Word, any chart you want. If you want to do stocks, great. If you want to do Forex, great. If you want to do crypto, great. I just want to see at least two trades. Oh yeah, so trading rules. We're gonna jump the gun a little bit, and normally we wait to go over this stuff when we're going over the plan after you've been trading for a little while, or even just a week or two. Then making trading decisions, then we start to really hone it in and get it all together. But I'm gonna send this to you because this puts on paper, right here, I have all the different reasons that I look at to enter a trade. So we'll actually go over these individually sometime, but I'm going to share this sheet with you. So I have my analysis rules, I have at least 3 reasons to enter a trade, and then here's all my different reasons I could enter a trade. My risk to reward ratio, all that stuff. Oops. So let me share that with you. What's your email?
GORJOBES01@gmail.com.
Yeah, you can refer to it, you can copy and paste it, put it in another spot. I'm gonna, eventually you probably come up with other rules that are better for you. So I have my mindset rules in here throughout my daily life rules. I'm not going to go through them because we're going to go through them deep some other time, but I mainly just want to do this. So if you needed some reasons to start looking for to enter a trade, you have that.
Sweet. Oh yeah.
Cool. I'm feeling pretty expressed. Yeah. How you guys feeling?
Good.
I'm not feeling good. Cool.
Yeah, the charting we did.
Yeah.
Um,
We went a while. A long session.
Really?
Flowing though, like it did. Yeah, it was feeling good. I know I talked most of the time, but
no, it's good. It's really good. Really good flow. I like how you use the you did all the levels first and then turn on the Bollinger Bands just to get that extra confirmation of what's going on.
yeah.
So do you even like look at like your rules anymore? Or is it just kind of like second nature now, where it's like you don't really need to, it just comes natural in a sense?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's more second nature. If I find myself just like kind of making a couple mistakes, like just knowing, then I'll force myself to go back and read them. Either next week or the week after, when we start really talking about like going in on trading plan, it's gonna be a thing to, you know, read the rules every single day for a while. But yeah, the eventual goal is where it's second nature. And you don't need to do that.
Sweet. How long did it take you to kind of like get that implemented?
When I actually started using rules, it took me longer because I didn't do it every single day and read it. Like I didn't have someone telling me the right way to do it to get it done fastest. But when I started doing it daily, yeah, it's like within a couple months, like it was just like, okay, this is routine, you know, like 3 months, yeah, for sure, in it, and just committing, just knowing that if I want to see success, this is what I have to do. You know, if I have this goal of whatever it is, you know, obviously the freedom of it, you know, being profitable is dope, making money is great, but it's like equating what you're gonna do with the money, you know, how you're gonna live. Like if by me following my rules that I've created for myself to hold myself account and holding myself accountable, that's what's going to get me, you know, this island, you know, or this vacation, you know, this longboard, even, you know, these shoes.
Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Cool. Does anyone have any questions or anything you want to mention? Feeling good?
Molly, you got anything?
Cool. Okay.
Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, do you want to I don't know, I'll leave it up to you, Amala. If you want to get on again next week, we can
Yeah,
do that.
can.
Let's try it out. Maybe all three of us, and maybe I can have Amala go in a little bit on the trading plan, just while I'm present, and then I could do it too. And just like have him state kind of how he does his and keeps himself accountable. And then yeah, I can.
Oh, I do have a comment. I know you
Yeah.
probably didn't get to checking it yet, but I sent you the USA guide for balance. The PDF. I finished it yesterday. Yeah,
tight.
so
Okay.
it's in your text messages.
Word. Let's
Yeah,
go.
bro. That was a that one was a marathon, but I just
I bet.
put on some good lectures on, got some wisdom while I did it, so it was all cruising.
Heck yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. I'll check my text. I'll
Oh
text you
yeah.
back. That means a lot. Amazing.
And I got the book you sent me too, the Secret Silent Science. So
Good.
yeah, bro.
What's that book about? It's like
It's like the next level of cosmic currency.
okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of truths in it. It talks about reincarnation. It talks about energy. It talks about the type of people you surround yourself with. It's like a ton of stuff. And you know what I found out is Dario Salas Summer, the author of Cosmic Currency, John Baines is just another pen name of the same guy.
Really?
The same exact author. Yeah.
Huh.
So, for instance, in part of it, in one of the book where it talks about reincarnation, it talks about how some people, like you have to cultivate something to be reincarnated. You know, if you don't have, if someone is born and they don't actually cultivate spiritual energy or enough of it, it's just like a shell that it's just kind of moving around. And so, it seems like a soul is something where it's initially a spark, but it's something that we cultivate and expand over time. It's kind of what it says. And otherwise, if someone doesn't is born and they don't feel inspired to follow spiritual, it's just, I don't know, so the way it words it, but if they don't expand that, then yeah, they're just recycled and they'll become another soul. Whereas individuals like us, where we did our first lifetime, we made that conscious effort to expand and to cultivate, we had the opportunity to be reborn. And just one idea. So
That's interesting. Yeah, that'd be a fun topic to get into sometime.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. My full intentions, I'm working my way back to being able to like live stream consistently. And those are the best. I love live streaming consistently. So pretty soon. Yeah. Those always get deep. Conversations like that always come up.
Hell yeah.
So anyway. Tight. Okay. Well, I'm down to do next week. If you guys are down to do like a Tuesday or Thursday instead of Wednesday, that would be great for me. But if that doesn't work, I can do Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm open all day next week. So
Okay.
what's best for you guys?
Okay. Amala, would you be cool with like Tuesday?
Yeah, it works for me.
Okay. Would you want to do it later?
I'm cool. I'm cool the same time. I like the early morning.
Yeah, me too.
Helps me wake up. I wake up at 6 a.m. and feeling good.
Heck yeah. Okay, cool. Well, we'll probably just do it again on your calendar or your Zoom, I mean. But I'm gonna put it in next Tuesday. We can do, I guess, just the same time.
Sweet.
My intention isn't to go as long as this one today. So
This one for a minute.
yeah. Yeah. Cool. Okay. I got
Definitely
it.
some good topics got into today. So
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. It was good. It was all for a reason, for sure.
Mhm.
Okay. And and Brandon, Jordan told me he texted you. He just told me to talk to you about it, but I don't know. I just whatever he was talking about. I think it was just with the mentorship and yeah, he always deals with that stuff. So that's probably what it was.
Yeah, I got him.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Cool. Can I do anything for either of you, like to support either of you in any way?
No, man, you're doing good. Like just this talk has just been like being able to express it to like people where it's like you feel like you're actually like heard and not just listened to. So I mean, just the listening, it's like I feel like it's underrated, or it's just like hearing people and just like genuinely being curious about it. It's like it just feels good to kind of express it and like let it out and just talk about it with other people. And it's not just like all up here. It's like
Mhm.
the Charlie Brown shit with the chick who's talking. Like it feels like that all the time in my mind. So it just feels good to kind of like put it out there and the physical in a sense. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, bro, you got a team for real. So
Mhm.
yeah. And that group, dude, is so good. Like a lot of times in the group signal group, people are posting charts, but it's like anything else. Yeah, I'm actually gonna ask a question. And I'm gonna ask if anyone's experienced what you're experiencing before, but I'm not gonna mention your name. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
see what people say.
Yeah, I'd be curious because like I feel like it's a new thing too. Like it just got recently discovered in like 2014 or 15, or like that's when people started noticing it. So that's when they started like documenting it and like going into like the scientific. So it's a new kind of topic or like concept in a way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm curious because too, it's like a level type of thing where it's like there's some people that are like a 10 on like they call them like hyper aphantasic or something like that, where it's like that's where you're able to visualize really, really strongly. And then aphan being aphanatic or whatever, that means like you can't visualize at all. And then there's this in between where it's like there's like levels to it where it's like, yeah, I can visualize it, but I can't taste it or I can't hear it, but I can visualize the picture. And so like it's like a level thing. And yeah, so I mean it's weird too, like being able super like I used to be able to visualize super strongly, and like I didn't know that it was visualization. I didn't know that it was like actually that like the imaginative part, but like going from 10 to 0, it's like the opposite of 0 to 100, or it's just like all of it's gone. It's like what the fuck? It's like that was it's so deep or like it's so meaningful, and it's like a lot of people don't even realize that they have it. So I mean, there's like a appreciation there of being able to appreciate it like when it is there. And like I feel like that's the whole point of like life in a sense. It's like you can't be better or like worse than anybody. Everybody's like on the same level, but you can have like a bigger appreciation for certain things. And like that's why I feel like kind of like the other world, or like after where we go when we die, it's like everybody is equally like on the same steps, but like the more reincarnations you have, the more experience you have, the more you can appreciate shit. So it's like there's like an appreciation part there. It's not like a power type of thing, but it's like an appreciation. It's like the more that you experience, the more that you can appreciate. So, but yeah, I'd be curious to see what other people say.
Heck
about
yeah.
that.
Yeah, I just posted it to the group. I just said, hey family, has anyone experienced the inability to visualize pictures or memories? So I want to see how it goes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay. Hopefully I'll have more feedback for you next week too, or even earlier, just talking to my other just like mentors.
I'd be curious to see what Damien says about it. I read a little bit of the beginning of his book, and like I've always been fascinated with like angels, and I feel like it's more of a feeling. It's more of kind of like, I think he talks about it too. It's more of kind of like a program like within the matrix, where it's like which is why the Bible talks about angels not being able to go against God, or like, which is why the devil being like he's not able to go against it, because he's doing what God fucking programmed him to do, which is this negative polarity duality type of thing. And it's like you can kind of like learn to love the devil and like learn to love the things that suck.
Yeah.
Another type of appreciation. Yeah. But yeah, I'd be curious to see what he says.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. Heck yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll keep you posted on that. I have my call with him at 6. So.
Sounds good.
Heck yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to go get a snack.
Same.
So, appreciate you guys. And I'll plan on seeing you next week. I'll text you both probably pretty soon though.
Sounds good. Appreciate you guys.
I'll see you guys.
Please.
Allah, take care.